Ladies and gentlemen, g'day, good evening. Welcome to the new and improved, potentially, On The Esky studio. We've had a little bit of a hiatus, boys. One of us has moved house, one of us is about to move house.
Yeah.
And which has meant that we've had to redo the podcast studio here in your new digs. We've got a bit of a different theme here with the all black background. I think I don't know if I'm a floating head. Maybe a poor choice of shirt tonight with the black shirt. But anyways, welcome to the first show in the new studio. It will be rugby league only tonight, lads, as we have in the background Thursday night football, Parramatta versus Melbourne. A lot in the media this week regarding these two teams and the contract breach of Zach Lomax. We'll get to that when we talk these two teams. But as we have done in previous pre-seasons, we will go through alphabetically 1 through 17, giving our hot/shit takes as to where we might think these teams might end up. I was listening back to this episode last year. Absolutely nailed some teams, absolutely way off on some, and about market value on a few others. The way we'll do it, we'll look at the ins and outs. We'll have a look at the spine, and sort of from that try and work out where we think roughly each team will finish this year. We've had the advantage, being Thursday night here in round one, of seeing the four teams go around in Las Vegas. One very, very close game, and Newcastle also looking a little bit better than people had predicted. But alas, we will start with the Brisbane Broncos in just a second. Shauno on my right, Monks on my left. How are we, lads?
Very good. Good to be back. Yes.
Yeah, back.
New digs.
While. Yep.
Has been a while.
Yeah, good chat. All right.
Yeah. I was expecting more from Sean.
Well, let's get straight into it, I think. We will start with the Brisbane Broncos. They are $6 favourites to take out the competition this year. That is the shortest of all 17 teams. In last year, they finished fourth on the ladder, but they won the grand final against the Storm in Michael Maguire's first season at the helm. They won 15 games in the regular season and then went on one of the all-time finals runs. Reece Walsh sort of went from handy fullback to potentially best player in the world kind of status last year.
Pre and post toilet water.
Yeah, that's right. Whatever is in the toilet water, I'll have what she's having. Thank you very much. Shauno, you've got them finishing third this year. I've got them finishing first. Monks, you've got them finished first. So no massive deviations from the market value. Ins, no massive names in terms of ins. They got Grant Anderson, a winger outside back from the Storm. Tom Duffy will be a backup half from the Cows. And Albrecht Taffa, edge from the Dolphins, who we'll talk about in just a second. A few big name outs, particularly in Selwyn Cobbo going over to the Finns, and Kobe Hetherington goes over to Manly alongside a fair few depth guys, the likes of Fletcher Baker, Jock Madden, Tyson Smoothie, Marty Tapau has retired. One of the big stories from the off-season, lads, was the shock announcement of Payne Hakeem Haas leaving at season's end. Shauno, as a sort of resident sort of Broncos kind of guy, were you surprised by this?
Yes, because I think by all accounts they wanted to keep him. They wanted him there long term. A lot of rumours about the amount of money on the deal, like the Broncos maybe undercut him, but I think they offered very similar.
Yeah, apparently not much more to go to South.
Yeah, when I guess it comes down to whether it was Madge versus playing for Wayne. I guess they just won the comp, so they've proved what they need to do at Brisbane. Maybe wanted to go back into Sydney and out of Queensland. There's a few things at play there, but I wouldn't think the Broncos were happy to let him leave, I'd say.
Well, it does mean next year we're going to have Haas leaving, and then Dozer and Renault, potentially sailing off into the sunset. At some stage.
That's probably why I've got them not 1 but 3, because depending on how Reynolds' hamstrings do, and Ben Hunt is not getting any younger himself, that they are a bit old at the very key positions. If they miss any time, then that's to me where they slide. And they started off a bit slow in that club challenge game there as well, and looked like Reece Walsh didn't live up to his off-season photoshopped images.
AI wash.
Yeah, the AI rig. So, I think they've won. They've got to get back into the momentum. So, they've come off the big high. The new season's going to start, and then see if they really want to work for it and get it back up there again.
For mine, World Club Challenge preseason game means nothing.
Yeah.
We saw
I was going to say the same.
go out last week and get absolutely bathed. Mike Acevo scoring 4, nearly 5 tries against them. Yeah. The travel, I think historically the Australian teams haven't done great in the World Club Challenge. And much like the trials, I don't think they've really translated into what we saw in Vegas. We saw Newcastle look pretty poo really in the trials. Couldn't score points. We thought from the trial matches, same old Newcastle. And they went out and looked really good on the weekend. We saw the Dragons look like mud in the Charity Shield and were, a controversial field goal away from taking the points. But I can see where you're at. They lose some players. They're not getting any younger, and then they lose. Hands down the best middle forward in the league.
Well, they haven't lost him
next season,
but but then there's also the usual intent, like that you're on a short lease essentially.
Yeah,
how passionate is he going to be playing for the Broncos?
That's right. So if they want the back-to-back, I have a strong feeling that it has to happen this year before they go then again back into sort of mini rebuild.
True. I suppose they can't go back-to-back if they lose this year. They have to win it 2 years in a row.
True that. That's how it works. I've got them coming first, and really when we're putting our numbers in, let's call them areas, right? So we've all got them top 4.
Yeah.
I think if Huss stays healthy and Walsh stays healthy with the depth that they have at the spine, you have to think Ezra Mann missed the first 10 games of last year and they were still pretty fine without him, and then he comes in and Hunt goes to 9 and they've got so much depth. A lot of teams would love to have one of those guys in their halves, let alone having 3 of them. So I think there's no reason why they won't be there at the end of the season. It's hard to win comps, and obviously they did it from 4th last year. Big upset win in week 1, which Raiders fans certainly haven't forgotten about. I think they'll be right up there with one of the teams to beat in the competition this year.
Definitely, I think just ending the season they ended electric. Huss will still have something to prove. Like, he's been in the Broncos for how many years now? Like, it's not like he's just going to be like, see you later, good luck.
No, he'll want to win.
He'll want to win, and equally, like, can completely, like, when you connect the dots, you can kind of understand the reason why he wants to move as well. Like, going back to Bennett, going back to, like, where it all sort of began for him.
Well, some of those New South Wales teammates, I reckon, pretty close with Latrell Mitchell, Cam Murray down there, link up with Dave Fafita. Like, they're going to be a scary prospect next year.
They are.
Anyways, we're talking about Brisbane. We'll get to South later in the episode. Spine doesn't change from last year. Walsh, Mam, Reynolds, Hunt. Our one to watch is Orblix Taffa, who's a 26-year-old who comes across from the Dolphins. He's played a little bit of first grade. He's wearing jersey number 17 in the 19-man extended bench that we see. Now that is a rule change, so we may as well talk about it here at the top of the show. You name 6 on your bench now, but then all the same interchange rules. You can only activate 4 of them. Essentially what it does is it gives you more cover. Essentially, if an outside back goes down or potentially a half, we'll just chat about it pre-show. Potentially it does devalue the importance of true utilities, right? A guy wearing 14 that can, maybe slot in the outside backs, play in the halves, play 13, play 9. Because now you can just pick an outside back and he just sits on the bench unless one of your outside backs gets hurt, which is essentially how we're seeing these 19s getting listed. The 4, similar to how they've been in the past, with an outside back and a half often named in the 19.
I suppose so. I think the fact that you can still only play the 4 means it probably won't be as a dramatic change.
No, it's only for those very rare occasions that someone goes out and takes Reece Walsh's head off.
Yeah,
that you want someone to come and fill in like that spot. Like there you might use it. I think it's probably more. You probably make do without a fullback, but having a coverage for your halves and maybe a centre kind of.
So outside backs.
Think
back to Origin a few years ago when Tommy Turbo goes down the first 3 minutes and Damien Cook ends up playing 77 minutes,
in the centres,
defending in the centres. Shout out to Cook. He made 70 tackles on the weekend, but he's definitely used to defending in the middle. And I think this rule change somewhat alleviates the catastrophe of if you have a key player, particularly an outside back, go down in the early stages of the game. Anyways, back to Taffa. He's named. I think he'll get minutes on the weekend, and it'll be interesting to see as a mature age guy what his impact is going to be for this Broncos pack, which is already pretty good.
Yeah. So to go back to answer your question, I reckon 90% of games will be the interchange will probably be standard as it was last year. Like you won't see any difference. It'll be those rare occasions where they'll go deep, probably to do with injuries. Yeah. But interesting to see, because I don't think they didn't change the concussion rule with, you have 3 blokes for the medical sub, but they don't have a medical sub anymore. He's covered in the 6. So, yeah, whether that's the start and, maybe they tweak that rule later on to do with, guys aren't available.
NRL and tweaking rules.
Yeah, well, guys aren't available with concussions, and then, to keep to me, it kind of it's pushing towards trying to keep a parity of it's 17 versus 17. So we'll see how that plays out over this year and probably the next year, etc. And they'll look at tweaking that rule.
Broncos, we all reckon they're pretty good. Sean maybe reckons potentially a little bit of a slide. Still, we've all got them in the top 4, expecting them to be there come September. Let's talk about the Canberra Raiders, boys. The Milk were the minor premiers last year. And then I think we're a Canberra-based podcast. You talk to any milkmen down here, there's still a lot of pain associated with that devastating loss to the Broncos down here in round 1. And it seemed like that was their grand final. They didn't quite have the juice to go out and match it with Cronulla the following week.
Losing Ethan Strange after that, I think, was the nail of them. So.
Yeah. And talking about Strange and KO Weeks, a lot of the pundits had the Raiders in the bottom 4 at the start of last season.
A lot of people had them getting the spoon.
That's right. The bookies had them spoon. I listened back to our episode. None of us had them at the spoon, but none of us had them in the top 8. So we were way unders on them last year. Canberra perennially underrated, it seems, by the mainstream rugby league media.
Yeah, I feel like they're a team that
mainstream.
Yeah, true.
Well, we had them underrated, but we didn't have them spoon.
True.
Yeah, I feel like they're always like a team that finishes 8th. That's very historical for them. And then they have these overs years where they just something clicks and they go real deep. So whether return to form, and there's a little bit of change in the guard, and there's probably one massive significant change which then impacts their spine significantly, and that's with Fogarty going to Manly.
Yeah, let's talk about that straight off the bat. So Jamal Fogarty goes over to Manly. It means that Ethan Sanders gets named at 7, come in from the Paris system season before last, and still hasn't played a whole lot of first grade. Do we have concerns around the spine? Obviously, we've seen how good Weeks and Strange were last year. They're electric players. Tom Starling massively improved last year, I think, at 9, forming that 1-2 punch with Owen Paddy.
Yeah, Paddy was good to him too.
Sanders comes into this and has to lead a team where the 3 other guys in his spine have like 60 NRL games combined. Is there any concerns there?
Probably, and that's probably why we don't have him finishing 1 again this year and around the 4 spot, because we think the pack is awesome and that'll give Sanders a good platform to work off all year. But
probably the best forward pack in the game.
Yeah, and he's a young fella that's got really good big wraps around him, and we'll have to see how he goes. I think the one big improvement, if he can tackle, not be a turnstile like Fogarty was at the end of last year. And I feel bad for Manly fans because I saw him got run over in their first game or first trial game. It was like there's a big long try and just run straight over around Fogarty. I think that's a big improvement is step 1. So, but Fogarty also helped win a lot of games and be a very good game manager for them.
Yeah, so, that's exactly what I was going to say. Incredible game manager.
That's got to be his role: is kick well, manage the game, don't miss tackles, and then leave it up to Weeks and Strange to win your games from nowhere. So, that's kind of what I think it should be.
He will have someone nipping at his heels. So they bring in Kobe Black, halfback from the Broncos. He's our one to watch because he'll likely start in New South Wales Cup and see how he goes. And I think if there's a slow start to the year, Sanders may have a little bit of pressure. Ricky is a bit of a pick and stick kind of operator. So he's not one to, shift things around week by week, which we see certainly at other clubs happen. So I think he'll want to give his spine, probably to Origin to have a good look.
Yep.
Plus, if Strange plays anything like he did last year, there is a possibility that Strange is in the New South Wales conversation as well. Something to consider, I think, as we sort of head towards winter time, and they may need to do a little reshuffle there anyway.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's kind of all fair. I think Ricky's probably going to hope to think that they're a back of the season team. It's just like win just enough games to sneak in at 8, and we know we've got the talent to upset any team when it comes to finals. So, I think that with that expectation, it's like, hey, we can lose a few games. Like, we can see that happen.
I think they'll do better than sneak into the finals.
I think that they're on paper, they're a very good quality team. That's why we all think they'll finish in the 4.
Yeah.
But I think
4-5-5 is what we've got.
Yeah, but I think even still, you're looking at Ricky and go, hey, we can have some growing pains and wear that. And if it means like we lose more than we're expecting, but as long as we still make finals, it's not going to matter because, have those growing pains, get the momentum in the back end of the year and know that we've got the team that can win the comp if needed.
Yeah. Just manage the season.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Not get hurt. I think it's the other big thing. The Raiders were very healthy last year. So up until like Strange got hurt. Crook.
That's right. It wasn't even a sports injury. He got the flu.
Yeah.
Tiramisu.
No massive names on the inside of things, but they make some really good depth signings here. Jaden Brayley comes across, okay? So in terms of that, whilst they don't have an elite number 9, we have Harry Grant on screen with Melbourne and Parramatta about to kick off. They don't have a Harry Grant.
Yep.
But they've got 3 guys now who are probably NRL standard halfbacks, all right? With Jaden Brayley, probably not quite where he was in yesteryear at the Knights.
Yep.
And we saw how good Starling-Paddy combination was last year.
It wouldn't surprise me if Paddy comes on more and more this year. We'll see how that kind of roll on that split with him and Starling goes as the season wears on.
Depth there. We saw Dane Laurie playing fullback in the trials as well. So again, a serviceable fullback or back utility type player.
I think they're not set on the outside backs. Like who's going to play on the wing? Whether it's going to be Savage, because I think Savage didn't complete that last trial game. So whether Dane could slide into a wing spot there. Yeah, they haven't really exactly bedded down who's going to be their outside backs.
I think they'll go
the wingers going forward.
I think they'll go most of the same. Tomoko doesn't start the season, so on the weekend they've got Tamale, Savage on the outside, and Sasangi and Seb Chris.
Yep.
So the only sort of force change there is Matt Timoko.
It's a bad head clash, that one.
I think Tamale and Savage healthy will be their wingers. Obviously, we saw Jed Stewart come in and do a job last year.
Yep.
I
think healthy Savage. You take the X factor. So and see how far they go. He's out cold. He died.
Yeah, who's down there?
One of the Melbourne's forwards. It's their fourth hit up of the game. So
not good. We've got the physio out there doing a check. Let's hope everything is okay. We'll watch that as it unfolds. Yeah, literally 30 seconds in at Amy Park. Outs, they also lose a bit of depth. Okay, so obviously the big names guy being Jamal Fogarty, but they also lose Trey Mooney, who looked very good for Newcastle on the weekend. Couldn't quite crack the starting 13, but played a fair bit off the bench. And Sammy Saulo as well goes over to Newcastle. And they lose Danny Levi going over to Leeds, so that's probably where the Jaden Brayley sort of cover comes across there.
Yep.
In terms of the forward pack, I think it is the best on paper. I really do think that. We have Tapane, Papali'i, yes, getting old, but still does a massive job. Played for Queensland last year. Corey Horsburgh's perennially in the Queensland conversation. Hunted Young, if he stays healthy, probably playing Sky Blue again.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit of coverage in the Origin period. But when you've got, a Kiwi international and a few Origin guys to go along there, it's going to set up a nice platform for the young spine to do their work.
Yep. Definitely.
And then, it's going to be can they win in September? Because regular season last year, they're on fire. They played really well. They also had the easiest strength of schedule last year, as we've seen Jaman Hopgood get marched for 10 here.
For a head clash. That'll be, it'll be. There'll
be some talking points. There'll be some talking points here. Kami Kamitha coming on for the Storm.
Yeah.
And that was Alec McDonald that went down, which is interesting because he's in for Trent Liero anyway. Liero only suspended for the first 2 games, so it's not going to be a massive out for Melbourne, but they're going to have to try and work out who's playing 13 next week by the looks. All right, let's move into the Canterbury Bulldogs. We got we're sort of got a preview of them at Vegas last weekend. An interesting game. Defensive sort of battle. That's what we've come to see from the Canterbury Bulldogs. Often winning these close defensive games.
Yep.
And it went to Golden Point, which we may get to in just a second. I'm still salty about it, that's for sure. Doggies come third last year. Really starting to, push forward after the complete rebuild under Gus Gould.
Yep.
They won 16 games, and they unfortunately went out in straight sets. They did run into the Storm and the Panthers in the postseason. So, pretty tough ask when you're going up against, Exhibit A and Exhibit B of the best teams of the 2020s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it.
Ins, Leo Thompson is probably the biggest name in, but they do pick up Sean O'Sullivan for a bit of half coverage. They do lose a few big names in Reid Marnie, who was starting for the Cowboys on the weekend. Curtis Moran will play a little bit, you'd think, at the Titans. Toby Sexton, Blake Taft, Blake Wilson all move on. In terms of spine, Connor Tracy 1, Matt Burton 6, Lockie Galvin 7, Bailey Hayward is the 9. So in terms of how he goes, Reid Marnie pretty good NRL level hooker. So Bailey Hayward probably needs to make that next step in his game. Didn't have a lot of run out of dummy half. I think he had 9 metres, but did a job, made plenty of tackles, didn't make many errors. So it's going to be interesting to see how much he develops as a 9. And then probably the biggest talking point around the Canterbury Bulldogs last year was moving on from Toby Sexton mid-season to bring in Lockie Galvin after Gus Gould famously said that we're not talking to him or, And
don't even know who he is.
That's right. And Lockie Galvin had to come across with security guards when he was first playing there because the West Tigers fans were less than happy with his mid-season exit.
Yeah,
and the players too.
I still think he's got to prove himself as a halfback. Like he's still.
I think it's a 6.
He's still got a. He's still a young fellow who's got to prove that he's good. And if you look at the Bulldog season last year, he kind of fell off a cliff after he joined that team. So, the instability, as you will, in the spine has, I think, caused a lot of issues. And that's probably why I've got them lower because I just don't think Gus likes the medal too much and I just don't think they have the right sort of spine. I think they threw away something good for something unproven.
I'm more bullish on them. You've gone 8th. I've gone 4th. Monks in the middle at 6th. I think defensively they're a really, really good team. And yes, there is probably some question marks around, can you win the comp with that spine? I think they'll be there playing finals like we saw last year. But then that, again, much like the Raiders, I think the Raiders and the Dogs are sort of in a similar sort of tier, right? In that they maybe played a little bit over what everyone was expecting last year, but then also weren't able to do it in September. With a couple of old heads sprinkled around a young group. Dogs forward pack's pretty good as well. Like we saw Jacob Preston on the weekend look like an Origin caliber edge with Viliama Kickout on the other side. That's probably the best second row combination in the NRL. And then you've got Kurt Mann and Jamin Salmon of Week Got a Dog fame doing a job in the middle. We saw Max King play Origin last year, and Sam Hughes has come along as a serviceable middle. They're probably not the Raiders in terms of how good the Raiders forward pack is, but I'd say the Dogs are in that sort of top 5 forward packs in the NRL.
Yeah, I think they kind of fit well into that range from 4 to 8, kind of is like where we think they'll finish.
Can they win the comp?
No. The Dogs.
Probably not. Yeah. Like you said, they're very much the sort of team that'll grind out a game, low point scoring. That probably doesn't see you through finals. You need to score points in finals.
They could barely beat the Dragon. Come on. They're not winning the comp.
Again, we're biased Dragons fans here. Saturday night last week, I thought, just not 13 plus, please. Like, let's just keep it competitive. And they kept it so competitive that they actually got their hopes up so much that I thought we were absolutely dudded in Golden Point there. Interesting, going back to Sunday night, no challenges in Golden Point, right? So the sort of go-ahead penalty, which gave the Dogs the field position to kick the game winner with 10 seconds to go, was the loose carry versus raking motion, potentially. And an interesting rule that may affect how these Golden Point games get decided. I can see why they do it as well, because if you haven't used your challenge, golden point, you're just going to...
challenge everything.
Challenge everything
as soon as they go for a
anything.
Well, you saw at the end of regulation of, what was that Cowboys Tigers game last year, and it was like right at the 80-minute. Actually, it happened in the Raiders Broncos final. Like right at the end there, they challenge it at the death. They think the game's over and they come back and do it. So you don't want all that to keep playing out. Whoa, shit! Knocking the mug over. Play out through overtime, through the golden point. So
I suppose so.
That derailed the Raiders season last year, didn't it?
Yeah.
And that was, I think, separate from a challenge in that it was the bunker having a look at, you remember the kick and the running into the kicker, and there was contact, and probably by the
I think
by the letter of the law, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
But if that happens in the 35th minute, they're probably not looking at it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a Cowboys game where...
I remember the one.
Yeah.
Done it.
But that was a challenge, and that was kind of a dud thing of end of the game. Yeah. I just don't think he wanted in golden point.
I don't know if I was wearing my red and white glasses, but I think reading through comments this week, there seemed to be a lot of neutral viewers that seem to share the same sentiment. And look, you'd rather lose like that in Vegas than lose in a finals match like that. Not saying
at least it's
making
at the
finals, but you can't get your heart ripped out if you don't make finals.
Flanagan don't reckon we're going to make finals either. So.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
No,
pessimist or realist?
That's it. No, my conspiracy theory, like Sean said, Gus Gould likes the medal. I reckon he had a word in Blander's ear, had to get this Galvin deal looking good, so got the bunker to let him play on and get the penalty.
Well, it was first. I think that penalty at game speed, I can see why he called the penalty, but in the slow motion, I was like, it's probably not a penalty. And do you want the bunker to be overriding the ref on the pitch?
I think you'd like the players,
golden point,
players to be able to have something happen live and go, that's not what happened. We'd like to have a look at that, would be my feeling.
Yep.
That's the
there was another big
decision
as well. So we saw Braden Burns in the Cowboys game get sent in the bin for a high shot on Kalen Ponga and then get 2 weeks for the said high shot.
Yep.
Stephen Crichton, yes, there might have been some mitigating circumstances in that Setu 2 taking that bomb and was falling, but clear direct contact with the head from Stephen Crichton, it gets ruled a penalty, no sin bin, and not even to the judiciary, no fine, no nothing. Do you think there's a double standard there?
What did we just say 30 seconds into this game?
Yeah.
Incidental head clash.
And there was also Nathan Cleary in the trial match as well. He got suspended a week, and then
it was going to be two.
And that looks probably worse than some of the other ones I've seen. So
you know who represented Nathan Cleary at the judiciary?
Who?
Ivan Cleary.
He's a good bloke. I know him well.
He's all right.
Told him everything he knows.
He's unproven in Origin, but he's all right.
He's not unproven. He can't win in Origin.
He has won in Origin. He probably
can't win consistently.
He hasn't probably won as much as us New South Wales Blues fans would like him to win, and that's maybe not all on him. Alas, this isn't a conversation about Nathan Cleary as such, but a observation, I suppose, that sometimes the elite guys in the game
seemingly double standard.
It's the Cameron Smith double standard. So
let us know in the comments.
Rugby league grey areas, shock me.
What did you think of the game on the weekend? Do you think Canterbury are good enough to make that next step? Because the next team that we're going to talk about is sort of in a similar boat. That should probably be in and around the 8, but haven't been able to win the comp in the last few years, and that is the Cronulla Sharks. They finished 5th on the ladder last year. They were able to win games against both the Roosters and the Raiders, and then they lost a prelim and gave a pretty good hit out against the Melbourne Storm. So that's back-to-back years that they've made the prelim after essentially they've just gotten better and better under Craig Fitzgibbon without being able to go to the big dance. So Craig Fitzgibbon started with them in November of 2021. That season they'd finished 9th before Gibbo comes in. And then he has taken them to the finals each year since. All right, but they've finished 2nd, 6th, 4th, and 5th. So really good results there. They've gone from getting bumped in the semis and the elimination finals to being able to win finals games and get to the prelims, but just haven't been able to make that next step. Ins and outs easy. All right. No big ins at all, like no first graders. And the only outs are Daniel Atkinson, who we'll talk about when we talk about the Dragons, and Kate Dykes goes to the Bulldogs. There is a lot of players off contract next year. Okay, Katoa, Will Kennedy, Cam McInnes, Jesse Ramian, Toby Rudolph, and Talakai has signed with the Perth Bears. So might be interesting how they look next year. I suppose my question is for you boys is, can they make that next step and win the whole thing?
Well, they didn't make any improvements. So
Is their existing playing group already
yes,
good enough?
another year of
Yeah.
growth and things. Potentially, but I just don't see it. And I think that's kind of why we got them basically. We're
Still playing finals, but just
Yeah.
only scraping into the 8.
Seven and 8 is what we've got them.
Yeah, somewhere between. I think they finished 5th last year, so somewhere between 5th and 8 is probably where they'll fit. They might get a decent, a good run in the finals and run up against a team that's coming off bad losses, but I just don't think they can win it. It has been 10 years since the last one won, so
Their first one.
yeah, their first one, so maybe, but I just don't see how with no changes they make such a significant improvement to catch the likes of Melbourne, Penrith, Broncos, Raiders to actually put themselves over the top. For me now to say, hey, I think they got to win the comp, I just can't say that.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I think I'd be in the same boat. Like Sam probably playing finals. I don't think they will fall off a cliff. Like I wouldn't expect them to finish 13th. But,
Yeah.
can they match it with those big boys come the death? Who knows? Yep. At least this playing group now has been together. They're relatively unchanged over the last few years. They've had the same coach. They've had the same spine. They're going to know each other's games inside and out.
Yep.
So there is a lot of that. They also go into the season a little bit banged up as well. So they're missing Mulatalo doing his ACL rehab, but I think Katoa's out with soft tissue as well. So both starting wingers, I believe, not named. I'll have a look at their side for... They get the Titans to start off with. No, Katoa's named at Stone Street. Will be playing for Mulatalo. And then Cam McInnes also rehabbing an ACL.
Yeah.
So it'll be Jesse Colquhoun starting at 13. So, not heaps of teams running into the season with too many injuries, but probably Cronulla sort of in the mid-tier of being banged up.
Yeah.
Other thing to consider as well is if this Origin eligibility thing is all 100% confirmed. And
it's done. It's a done deal.
AFB probably plays Origin 3 games as well. So that shouldn't affect them towards the end of the year. But, there's 3 games there with missing a top 3, top 5 middle forward in the NRL. You'd assume, barring injury, he's probably playing for the Blues this year.
Yep.
So, again, I don't know if that affects Cronulla worse than any other team, but... There's probably a guy there that plays Origin because they have so many guys that are good NRL players that don't get picked for Origin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ramian's sort of been there or thereabouts. Hines famously had his time, and I don't know if he's ever going to play State of Origin again.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Like to see him back there potentially for the sake of his career, but there's just a lot of good, consistent NRL players, but maybe not that superstar talent.
Yeah. I think that's it. Like, it's really a year for Nico Hines to sort of prove that he is that elite football player who can play Origin.
He won Dally M.
Yeah.
I think
so he's got to get back to that sort of
he
consistency.
Consistency, but consistently really good.
Yeah.
Like he has those games where he just disappears, and then he has those games where he's a world beater. He needs to be consistently the world beater. So they go back to the winning Dally M's.
Yeah.
And there's just too many games last year where it was just kind of a bit all over the place. And I think the Sharks as a healthy squad overall probably got him out of games, and he didn't need him as much. But
And
as a half, he's got to need to do a lot.
Yeah, Sharks are a hard one though. Like it's not necessarily we haven't got them like just scraping in for finals because they're going backwards. It's more so other teams have improved more so than the Sharks have. Like. Yeah, so like the team we've got up next is one that's kind of a little bit more on the rise. But yeah, like Sean said, there's no notable ins. They haven't improved anywhere. So
that's a nice segue, I think, into the Dolphins. So $23 to win the whole comp. They finished 9th. They've had steady improvement since coming into the comp. They actually statistically got better after Wayne Bennett leaves, which doesn't happen to too many teams. So kudos to Christian Wolf in his first year coaching a full season in the NRL.
Well, I think their growth really comes with Katoa.
Yeah.
And he's still super young.
Yeah.
The more football he
22,
plays,
I think.
yeah, more senior football he plays, the better he's going to get. Another bloke that fringe potential for Origin.
Yeah, when Cleary was missing, there was a lot of talk about is Katoa the second best 7 in the NRL. I think a healthy Mitch Moses maybe has something to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not to say that in 2 seasons it's not going to be Isaiah Katoa.
Yep.
Would you believe it? All 3 of us have got him in the 8.
Mm-hmm.
6, 7, 8. We've all got him in that elimination final sort of bracket. So we all believe Fins Up might actually make it in their 4th season.
Yeah, that'd be their first in the 8.
They haven't made it. They've gone. I'm going off the top of my head here. I feel like it's 13, 11.
It's right
9.
there. So
There you go.
I swear I saw that in the notes, which is why it reminded me that they
Pretty
haven't
close. 13, 10, 9.
Yeah, haven't made the 8 yet, but they've been progressing towards it.
And they've won a couple more games each year, right? So
and I feel like their team's kind of turned over the old heads and bringing the young fellas in, and then they've picked up a few. Guys have, take Selwyn, fell out of favour, but still very talented.
Yep.
They, just need to unlock that. And, he just fits into that back line. They've already got plenty of talent in that back line. So, for me, their concerns would be more with their forward pack. But
their forward pack is like getting younger, right?
Yeah, so, and if Fegler's back, like he missed all last year, and he's
2. He's missed
2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like he looks good, and he played Origin, so healthy Tommy Gilbert. So they've got Origin talent in that forward pack. So I feel like they're an ascending team. So that's why I think they'll make it into the 8.
I think there's an argument as well that their outside backs are top 3. In the NRL, like Cobbo comes in to join Herbie Farnworth, like consistently Dally M Centre of the year, just gets through bulk work, head and shoulders above anyone else in Supercoach fantasy realm for a centre. You've got Hammer, who on his day is electric.
Was he leading try scorer last year?
Ooh, that's a good question, Monks. Bring up the tries from last
year.
Or
did he and was it a Sarko?
No, Psycho was a couple seasons ago. Yeah,
okay.
But them 2 have scored
I still think they scored like 30 last year.
A lot of tries. I don't think it was Hammer. I think he might have been top 5. Let's see, Mike, if you can have that one up there. And then you have this argument around if Jake Avarillo, if there's question marks around him at centre, do you move Hammer into the centres and Trey Fuller? Who's
electric.
Been incredible when he has filled in at fullback. He did miss time end of 24 into start of 25 rehabbing an ACL. And I suppose the question mark is around his size. Like he's a little bit undersized, I suppose, for the NRL. But there's always a bit of chat there about, is he just too talented to leave out of the starting field?
Yeah, exactly. And if you're going to be undersized, playing fullback's a good spot for you. So, I think they're just going to work out whatever their best 17 is and play it.
Spine-wise, it'll be Hammer, Cody Nikorima, Isaiah Katoa, and Kurt Donahue starts whilst Jeremy Marshall.
Cody's probably my only kind of question mark in that.
He's pretty good, man.
I think he's consistently good. He's just, he's an above-average starter that gives you good minutes. He's not going to do too many fuck-ups, but he's not the dude who's going to win you games. And I guess that turns over to Katoa. Katoa's going to do that legwork.
Did you find try scores last year?
Yeah, Marky Mark was top try scorer. Yep, 24. Hammer was second with 22, and then Coates was 20. Yep.
So second highest try scorer in the league last year, Hammer, and it was a season or 2 before that Jermaine Asako was the top scorer. So plenty of points. I think they scored. Have we got there? 721 points last year, which led the comp, and they didn't make the 8. So they're averaging 30 points a game in attack. Obviously, they're going to have to improve in defence and improve against the good sides, right? Like you can't just be a flat track bully and go out and murder the Dragons. A couple of years in a row, they've absolutely fished our team.
Didn't they have 4 games with 50-plus points last year?
I believe 4. Yeah, I believe 4.
Can't win the comp if you lose by 50.
Well, yeah, they eliminated a few teams from contention, didn't they? By that, but
the fucking Raiders.
It was a reserve grade Raiders side. Sticky rested everyone, but I don't know. The curse rings true. That's it. The curse rings true. You can't concede 50 and win the comp.
Yeah. So here we go. We've got top 5 point scorers. So Osaka was number one with 278 points. That was 11 tries and
all the goals.
117 goals,
Yeah.
Next up was Nico Hines at 228. So he was a
50
full 50 points ahead.
Not going to be any drama scoring points this year. It's defensively, can they hold up, and how's the forward pack going to look? With guys coming back from a season or two out, and some guys retiring. So Kenny Bromwich and Mark Nichols are both retired. Yep. They also get Morgan Knowles across, who's an England international, comes over from St Helens, so obviously good system type guy over there. We've always seen these English guys come across and not be flashy kind of back rows, but just get through a bunch of work.
Raiders had some pretty good success with Pommers playing in
the
second row.
It's been a really big part of the Raiders recruiting in the last sort of 15, 20 years, hasn't it?
I was actually surprised I didn't have any this year.
No, so Matty Nicholson's a Pom, but they he obviously played all last year, but I don't think they've brought in anyone specifically this year.
Still got more
after the likes of Nicholson and Morgan Smithies and former captain Elliot Whitehead,
Bateman.
They like specifically an English back rower, don't they?
Yep. Canberra winner, it's pretty close to England, so
yeah, still probably nicer.
It's a little bit drier,
it's
at least.
Less pommies around as well. So.
Well, it was surprising the Roosters haven't signed more Poms because half of the eastern suburbs in Sydney is Englishmen these days. That's for sure.
What's worse, a Pom or a public servant? But I won't go too far into that one.
Politics.
Yeah. All right, let's go into the Gold Coast Titans. They had $67 to win the whole thing this year. They finished 16th last year. They were lucky that the Knights didn't know how to score points because Newcastle got the spoon on points difference. They do bring in a new coach, going to test his feet in the NRL waters. Josh Hannay, former centre for the Cowboys, hasn't had a head coaching role for a whole season. I think he's had a couple interim games in the past.
Yeah, lots of work for Queensland. He's done a lot of his coaching.
I actually put some notes in there. Here you go. So he was caretaker at the Cowboys and the Sharks 2019 and 2020, and then has had time underneath Des Hasler to prepare. So they announced Hasler wouldn't be renewed in August. So it's not like he's had to build everything from middle of November, which is often the case. He's had a good 6 months to think about his list and try and think about this how they're going to line up 1 through 13.
Big turnover the list, huh?
Yeah, some big names. Some big names. Regan Campbell-Gillard goes over to
having said that,
London Broncos.
Yeah, they were also probably paying overs and not getting results out of these big name guys either.
Well, David Fifita is the elephant in the room, isn't it? I don't know if you guys saw him in the trials. Looks scared. Like on his day, the most terrifying edge back rower.
Back with Wayne.
Yeah, so big loss. But yeah, if you're paying a bloke 1.1, 1.2 a year and you're not getting your bang for your buck, I can see why the divorce happened.
Yep.
Kieran Foran, who we just saw on the panel there, retired, so they lose a lot of experience there.
So is Lachlan Ehlers coverage for him?
I think it's going to be Jaden Campbell playing 7, but he's injured to start the year. So yeah, Lachlan Ilias comes over, who was at South and then at the Dragons. So again, they've got sort of a true 7 in Ilias, and who's named for Saturday night against the Sharks. But we've seen time and time again Ilias be a good reserve grade player and struggle when he goes up to that next level. Also had a horrific leg break 12 months ago. So it might be 18 months. Anyways, always hard to come back from injuries like that.
Yep.
And we look at their spine. So healthy, their spine would be Keeney, Brimson, Campbell, Verrills. So unchanged on last year. But are any of those guys out and out 7s, I suppose, is the question. Do they have 3 fullbacks, and trying to force 2 of them to play in the halves?
Yes. Yeah. I definitely feel that way. I think we talked about that last year. That, they got too many fullbacks playing spots they shouldn't be playing.
All good NRL players.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Brimson's way better fullback than he is a 6. So
Yeah, it doesn't matter what number you're wearing on your back, but probably is my feeling there. Keeney also missed a lot last year. He has looked really electric. Obviously, a young guy, really fast. So how he bounces back from injury is going to be interesting. And yeah, looking at those outs, so we already mentioned RCG and David Fafita and Kieran Four, and they also lose 2 outside backs in Brian Kelly and Lofi Khan-Pereira. Khan-Pereira being the league's top scorer a couple of seasons ago. He goes over to the Warriors. Brian Kelly goes over to the Eels, plus some other sort of handy NRL names in Ken Mamolo and Carter Gordon. Yep. We mentioned Ilias coming in. Curtis Moran, I think, can do a job coming over from the Bulldogs. They bring in Max Feeney from the Dolphins, the outside back, former Dragon. But in terms of big name guys, no real big name ins, lots of big name outs. Finished 16th last year. That is alarm bells galore for me.
Yep.
One great thing is that they re-signed Tino. So a lot of speculation because his brother, Isaac, goes to Perth next year. He's over in the Super League this year, but he'll be part of the inaugural Perth Bears in 2027. A lot of noise around Tino potentially going to Perth. Yep. Also had heard that Melbourne Storm were interested with him. So when he put pen to paper and signed till 2030, whilst it may not happen from this year, I think that's massive for the club, seeing out the decade with one of the league's premier forwards.
Yeah, I just not sure with this club because Mal was there trying to help out and things like that, and then Des was there. That's
Matty John's there now.
Yeah, that's two of the he's owner, isn't he?
He's involved. Yeah,
he's involved
in ownership.
But that's two old heads with a lot of experience in the NRL and really couldn't make any headway with this club. So I don't know. Titans just seem to be perennial cellar dwellers. So I don't see too much improvement.
It's been a long time since we've seen a really good Gold Coast Titans outfit.
Yeah.
I do want to highlight Cooper Bai, so son of Marcus Bai, former Melbourne Storm and PNG winger, definitely a cult hero back in the early noughties.
Yep.
Rangy, fast winger. Turns out a huge unit of a son, Cooper Bai, who's 19 and looks big enough to start in the middle, potentially at NRL level. He's wearing 17 on the weekend, so should see some minutes and will be in a lot of fantasy/supercoach teams this year. So big raps on him. It's going to be interesting to see how he transitions into the NRL. And one probably strength of their side is their forward pack healthy.
Yep.
Okay, so Tino... and Mo Fotuaika, so they've got 2 Queensland calibre guys to play in the middle. They got Bo Firma, who
played for Queensland.
Is good. Jamin Jolliffe is actually a big out. He's out this year with the ACL again, which I think opens the door for some Cooper Bai minutes. So yeah, maybe one of their strengths is that forward pack. But yeah, I've got some big question marks around spine and outside backs.
Yep.
100%. And new coach.
Yeah, there always seems to be the team that's kind of building.
I'd be very, very surprised if they played finals footy.
Yep.
I've gone spoon.
Well, yeah,
Mike's gone spoon. Sean's gone 15. So we've all got them bottom 4. I think ceiling for them might be 11, 12. Yeah, 11, 12. We're all happy with that.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'd be very, very surprised if they played top 8. But stranger things have happened.
True.
Think about the Raiders being minor premiers last year. All right, let's see what the Gold Coast Titans can give us this year. Next team, Manly Seagulls, $36 to win the whole thing. They finished 10th last year at 500, 12 wins, 12 losses. Anthony Seibold returns as coach. Shauno, you've gone 9. I've gone 12. I'm a bit concerned about Manly this year. Mark's has gone 10. We've all got them fringe top 8. Certainly, if they stay healthy, they've got some guys that can lead them there.
My Niners is definitely dependent on them being healthy. Triple turbos, they do generally go all right. But yeah, it was when those turbos start falling off in the team, especially one, the main turbo, being Tommy. If with him out, they just seem to, their win percentage drops off a cliff. So
he has strung two seasons together with 18 plus games. So 18 last year and 20 in 2024. I suppose the concerning thing was around the Dally M year where we saw arguably one of the greatest rugby league seasons of all time back in 2021 when he scored 28 tries in 18 games with 28 try assists and won the Dally M easily from 18 games. Only played 7 in 2020, 7 in 22, 11 in 23. Big soft tissue history, and he's not getting any younger. So few question marks around there, and his brother as well. Donning the. Have you seen the new headgear that Jakey's wearing, like the big bubble wrap headgear?
Oh, he's Guardian cap, eh?
Yeah, not quite Guardian cap for our NFL fans out there, but definitely looks a little bit different to the traditional headgear in the NRL. So some question marks there around two Turbo's health, and then the massive story is the end of the DCE era. So we spoke about Jamal Fogarty. Leaving the Raiders, and definitely a great game manager, but certainly doesn't have the credentials of a DCE.
No, big shoes to fill.
Yeah, big shoes to fill, but I think at this point in DCE's career, they're more like for like than you think.
Yeah.
So
he'd be a good 6 years younger than DCE.
Yes. So I think I don't see too much change and drop off there. And this is kind of why I think they're just the middle of the pack team, like average right in the middle. They just haven't done too much more than last year, and I think they're fairly similar sort of squad and highly dependent on Tommy T and what he can deliver for them.
We mentioned the superstar out in DCE. There is a lot of regular first graders as well that go. So Josh Alleyway has retired. Lachlan Croker retired. Matt Lodge, we saw him playing in Vegas for the Cowboys. Jazz Tavanga, who was pretty good last year, goes over to the Super League. Tommy Talau, who was playing on the wing for them, goes to the Roosters. Toffa Sipley goes over to the Super League. Like, there's a lot of sort of handy first graders. So whilst they've lost their, 7 of the last decade, it's not just him. It's a fair exodus of handy first graders as well.
Yep.
Do bring in Fogarty, as mentioned. Kobe Hetherington should see some time. Zach Docker-Clay, utility, comes over from the Roosters. And Blake Wilson, throbber winger, comes over from the Bulldogs. I suppose one real strength for them is their outside backs. So Tolu Kola has signed until 2031. Ruben Garrick will play this year with Manly before he goes over to the Roosters. So they're going to need to find a new goal kicker, I suppose, next season. But fully healthy,
Fogarty.
Turbo, Saab, Hopewadi, Kola, Garrick.
Yeah.
Outside back's pretty good.
Yeah, they're definitely talented. A lot of speed.
And we haven't even mentioned Ola Kawatu, who is one of the better edge back rowers on his day. But yeah, I suppose there might be a little bit of questions around the forward pack with some retirements and an aging / banged up Jakey T.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Do they have the right sort of size right up front? That is a question mark for me, but
in terms of the big boppers, make some meters. I think Takiao and Paseka are pretty big boys. Like I think they'll be fine there. They don't have any elite middle forwards, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard when we live in a world where there's Payne Haas's and Terrell Mays getting out around that play 80 minutes and one of the fittest guys in the team at 108, 110 kilos. Like, it's hard when that's the ceiling. But yeah, you do need some. Like, you look at the good teams and most of them have a good middle forward or two.
Yep.
Right. So, we spoke about the Raiders at the top of the show, how good their pack is. I think Penrith, year in, year out, have solid packs. We spoke about the Dogs and some of their recent success going to the strength of their pack. So Manly potentially just a little bit behind on them.
Yeah, so I may have rephrased it. It's like they've got the size, but it's unproven. So it's just like, But, young fellas, we'll see how they go and if they can be destructive in the middle.
Speaking of young fellas, they have a bloke who will wear 14 and should see a bit of time off the bench in Joey Walsh, who's pretty highly touted half / utility. 6 and 7, Brooks and Fogarty, pretty solid NRL type guys. But if they're looking towards the future,
it's not superstars, and that's where that's Tommy T. So that's where all their big. Out of nowhere, sort of X factor players.
That's right.
It's got to go through him.
In the spine of Turbo, Brooks, Fogarty, Simpkin, obviously.
Yeah,
Turbo's healthy, is head and shoulders above anyone in that. So, but I wouldn't mind to see what Joey Walsh has got, and if they are looking, forward to the future, and potentially when Brooks comes off contract, if Walsh is the succession plan, that'll be interesting to see.
Yep.
So recapping 9, 10, 12, we've all got them. Sniffing.
Yeah, they'll be one of those teams that are might be competing. They're kind of always a little bit of a dark horsey Manly. Depends if they get a run and they're healthy. That's always been the thing.
That's it.
So,
I think it's similar to a lot of the teams in that sort of range. I mean, we've been saying it all night before the podcast, between like 6 and 12. Could be anywhere within.
Hard to pick
that,
this year.
Yeah.
Hard to pick. Even at the teams that went over to Vegas, and I think outside of the Dogs, a lot of people were like, oh, this is a bit of a yawn. We saw some good football from Newcastle. Yeah. We saw the Dragons play, gritty defensive type football. It wasn't, I think they had 9 tackles inside their 20s. So they didn't have a lot of go forward or good ball, but they, were still able to stick it out with a top 4 team from last year.
Yep.
I don't think there's any bad teams in the NRL. Like even going back to the Titans we just spoke about, you look at on paper, you're like, well, they got Tino, they got Mo.
That's it.
They've got guys who have in their spine that have played Origin.
I think there's one.
You reckon
got our red and white glasses on?
Well, I feel a lot more confident after the weekend.
We're in a salary cap parity. Everyone's going to have. Yeah. It's the NRL. Like everyone's going to have good quality players.
That's it. Someone has to come first. Someone has to come last.
Yeah.
And week in, week out, any team can beat any team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Dragons beat the Storm and the Panthers. Let's talk about the Storm. They're currently playing. Storm doing Storm things. So despite losing,
Harry Grant looks so funny. Yeah, he's carving them up at the moment.
Yeah, he's already one try assist and 1 try for Harry Grant. 18-4 with 10 minutes to go in the first half here. Storm got a storm, and they come second last year. They lost really in one of the more entertaining grand finals in recent memory due to the individual brilliance of one Reece Walsh. Craig Bellamy returns. Their spine, other than Pappy, returns. We've all got them top 4.
Yep.
Sean's got them first.
Yep.
Mugs 2, me 3. They pick up Jack Hetherington, Davey Moale, a couple of mids that come in. There might be a little bit of work to do through the middle with Nelson Asofa Solomona retiring / going, starting his boxing career. And then Jonah Pezzett, who is featuring tonight for Parramatta. They lose out of the halves. And then we're going to talk about I suppose the big story. There's a big change in their spine in that Ryan Pappenhausen won't be playing this year. Seems like he's having a gap year in his own words.
I think he retired.
I think he's having a gap year.
I'm pretty sure he said he's too hurt and too banged up. I'm done.
Never coming back? Never say never. He's too He's too young.
He'll get hungry in probably a year or two and be looking at his bank account and be like, yeah, maybe I'll play again.
I have been checking out his socials. He looks like he's having a good time in retirement. He's playing golf over in some nice Queenstown resorts.
Yeah, but you got to remember he's past last season and the previous 2 were a lot of injury rehab.
And not just injuries. Like, it's not like a couple of hammies.
No.
He's shattered his patella into 14 pieces, I think it was. He's snapped his fib twice. Like, his lower limbs. I can understand why he wanted the year off.
Yeah, I think he's looking for a significant break and probably a reset. And then, maybe he'll come back and reevaluate. But I think we'll see.
There was a lot of speculation, obviously, with the R360 that, it was to walking out of the contract potentially to have a look at that. And then I think you're right. On, their podcast, he's talked about, no, that was really never part of the plans.
I think that was just beat up and things like that. So, but you never know.
Suafa'alongo is a pretty good replacement. And we have seen this time and time again with Melbourne.
Just plug him in. Just plug him in.
Well, you remember a few years ago, right, in the post Cam Smith, Cooper Cronk type
Billy
era.
Slater era.
Yeah, that's right. Like,
they just roll into
like
Hughes, Munster.
It's like, how do you replace that spine? How? And then they grab a fullback who can't get a game up north in Jerome Hughes and turn him into a Dally M7, right? Cam Munster, different sort of, like, was highly touted as a young bloke, but has been the Australian.
We couldn't put it all together. It was like laying bricks and was like, well, come here and we'll sort you out.
That's right. Harry Grant, I don't think anyone's arguing if you want to say Harry Grant's the best hooker in the league.
Yep.
So, and then you can build teams around that spine. I think we maybe had some concerns around their forward pack depth last year, and then Trent Liero becomes an Origin type player. Eli Katoa, who will be severely missed this season, becomes a Dally M edge back rower. They just have the system. They have bellyache. They just
as you're talking about, you got to remember Craig is one of the godfathers. You put him on Mount Rushmore of coaches in the NRL. Like he's going to get out of them what they need week in, week out, and that's why I've got him finishing one.
Who is your coaching Mount Rushmore on the spot here? Wayne's up there.
Yeah, so I think it's
Bellamy.
I think Tim Sheens gets there pretty close. Hasn't won probably enough comps, but done plenty. And then I'd have to think about a fourth.
Four's hard. I think there's a very clear 3. I think the old heads might say Bob Fulton.
I could throw Mal in there, not for club footy, but for everything else he's done, like Origin, Australia, etc. But he's not a close. Yeah, he's not a club guy.
I suppose Ricky doesn't have the comps.
Hasn't got the accolades.
Yeah. He's got one, but I tell you what, if he goes out there and wins 1 or 2 with the Raiders, Ricky's contracted to 2029, I believe. Like
he'll coach there until he wants to retire. Essentially,
Wayne Bennett there, isn't he?
Yeah, the Raiders actually don't turn their head coaches over very often. No, Ferner was there for donkey's years.
Yep. Yeah, tough question though. I think there's a pretty clear 3.
Yep.
And then it's who would you have 4? Get at us in the comments on your rugby league Mount Rushmore for coaching. So we're definitely going bellyache has to be on there. Yeah. Wayne Bennett has to be on there. I think Tim Sheens in terms of longevity and being able to do it with multiple clubs. And then there's maybe an argument around 4. I'm going to chuck Bozo Bob Fulton out there. Rest in peace. Back to the Storm. Got the elite coach. Haven't lost round 1 for 23 years. Can they win the comp? That's the question. Because they've been there a couple years in a row, but they haven't been able to do it. And I'm sure that'll be fresh in the mind of especially some of those senior players there. Yeah,
but some of those senior players have also won the comp there in Melbourne. So, I definitely think they can do it. They've got the experience. They've probably got some younger fellas with a bit of turnover in the team, but the spine's still the spine, and those guys will keep them rocking. So I think they're going to do quite well.
I tell you what, these boys are, particularly the likes of a Munster, Hughes, Grant, didn't spend their off season thinking about becoming runners up this year. That's for sure. So that's obviously been the story. They are. Yeah. It's hard to win. They're hard to win. It's sort of testament to the craziness that we saw with the Penrith Panthers going 4 in a row. And we'll get to them a little bit later in the show. But I think top 4 will be the expectation. Yep. And then, really, I suppose Melbourne's season starts in September, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything we've missed there? Fart Longo, Munster, Hughes, Grant.
Coates is going to miss a little time.
Yes, that is in the notes. So we mentioned Eli Katoa, obviously horrific scenes with the Tonga brain bleed, potentially.
He's been back training, which has been good.
He's sitting out the whole year. He is definitely having a gap year. Yep. And then we've seen him be an elite edge back rower. So hopefully we see him playing footy and being healthy first and foremost. But we're not going to see him this year. And then Xavier Coates misses the first half of the season with what I believe it was an Achilles debridement. He didn't rupture. I think he was having ongoing issues with Achilles tendinopathy and probably had a bone spur potentially. The back part of your heel grows out a little bit long and causes some friction, some issues there. But the timing of it was very unusual because it looked like they were trying to get him through the preseason and he was just having too much pain. And then they've gone, well, we can probably do this and get by through sort of the first 10 to 12 weeks and then we'll have him in that sort of post-origin run, which, is probably when they're going to need all their stars, right?
You said it. Wait till September. So, get him well rested, healed up, and for the back end of the season when they're going to need him, that's when they'll use him.
Does open the door for 28-year-old winger who's come across from rugby. He's represented New Zealand at sevens level. Moses Leo is playing tonight. A lot of Supercoach fantasy type nuffies will be keeping an eye on him because he'll be a cheapie and should get really a good run at it whilst Coates is out.
Yep. Those Union wingers.
Yeah.
Pretty handy.
Yeah, Marky Mark. Pretty good last few years, isn't he? All right, that'll do it for the Storm. We all think top 4 and, premiership is probably the ceiling. Newcastle Knights from potentially up the top to
Holbrook still catching
potentially down the bottom. $67 to win the whole thing. They did get the spoon last year. They really struggled to score points. I think I messaged you last week when they scored their second try about 10 minutes in. I said, they've already scored more points than they did in 10 games last season. So need to be able to score points. And yes, sample size of 1. We're able to do it against the Cowboys on the weekend. So that's got to be promising for Newcastle Knights fan. Justin Holbrook is the head coach. The Adam O'Brien era didn't pan out. So Holbrook comes in. And look, they look pretty good on the weekend. The spine is definitely not a wooden spoon spine, I don't think. Kalen Ponga, Fletcher Sharp, Dylan Brown, the $13 million man, and Phoenix Crossland, New Zealand international Phoenix Crossland, comes... he's going to be their spine, and obviously the big story is Dylan Brown coming over on the 10-year deal.
Do you think, I see on the ins there, they've got Smith there as well. Do you think that's coverage if Dylan Brown doesn't work out at 7, moving back into 6, and Smith can play 7?
We're seeing a lot of teams that have got guys that are traditional 5'8" and
trying to make them halfbacks.
Trying to make them halfbacks, yes. So Sandon Smith, probably an out-and-out halfback, can give you a bit of coverage at 9. I think they played him at 14 on the weekend. We'll have a little bit of an answer as to what their contingency plan is, because Fletcher Sharp did a low-grade PCL on the weekend after looking really, really good. Weird one, because he got like the hamstring sniper type thing, like was just running across and went down. And I think a few players earlier had that fall on a bent knee and classic sort of PCL type mechanism. Good news is it seems the low grade. He's probably only going to miss a month of footy max, but it does mean that Holbrook will have to play his hand as to what is the contingency plan. And I think you might be right. I think it might be Dill Brown to 6 and Smith to 7, which, if they shuffle around, may be another way that they line up this year. Tell you who looked bloody good on the weekend, KP. Hey, he's watching Reece Walsh do his thing and go, hang on a minute, I was the Queensland fullback not that long ago.
Give me some of that toilet water.
Yeah, that's right. Here's a story about KP in the toilets once upon a time. But, just holding his hair, bro. Just holding his hair. And
he's not licking the toilet, so that's
for
sure.
In Fletcher Sharp's absence, essentially in attack and good ball, just playing like a halfback. And looks like still a really, really good player. A lot of talk as well with the Origin eligibility kind of stuff, with KP having indicated that he would like to represent his heritage potentially at some stage and play for New Zealand. So I do wonder, how that's going to look in the international sort of format and state of origin moving forward. Yeah,
well, if he can't get a gig in the Australian squad, then he's probably definitely going to get a gig for the Kiwis.
For sure. Dylan Brown, as mentioned, comes across. Trey Mooney, who looked actually pretty good, comes across from the Raiders. Sammy Saulo as well comes across from the Raiders, and Sandon Smith. So a few guys already having impact in first grade. Do have a lot of outs. A lot of outs. We spoke about Jaden Brayley before.
They're a team that could have a lot of outs.
Yeah, that's true. And I suppose there's not superstars, but there's a lot of first graders from last year. Adam Elliott, KPP, who has looked really good. Riley Jones played a fair bit of first grade last year. Leo Thompson. So I think the problem is pack here, right? So that's 4 guys out of their starting 17 at least last year that go really for only, albeit he looked pretty good, Trey Mooney, but a guy that kind of struggled to play first grade at the Raiders. So
what's that pack looking like now?
I have massive concerns around the pack.
They're a team that has historically tried to get old heads from other teams to fill their pack. So
this is their pack. So front row, Trey Mooney and Saifidi. They had Matt Croker playing 13 on the weekend with Tyson Frizzell coming off the bench. And Dylan Lucas and the bloke that comes in to play the KPP edge is Jermaine McEwen. Dylan Lucas is very, very good. We spoke about Jacob Preston maybe pushing for Origin. Dylan Lucas can't be too far off it. But then, I suppose depth with their middles is maybe a little bit of concern. Tyson Frizzell not getting any younger. Maybe a few concerns, although Knights fans got to feel a lot better after the Vegas showing.
Yeah.
Like the fact they scored 28 points. Like that's already, really good.
That's a whole good start to the season.
Unfortunately, it hasn't rubbed off on all of us. You two gone 16, I've gone 15. I'd like to be proven wrong. I'd be very surprised if they played top 8. I think, sort of like that Titans, Cowboys, Dragons sort of ilk. Ceiling might be sort of pushing for the 8, but unlikely to play finals.
I think a committed spine is my concern. Like, you need KP to play overs consistently.
Which he did on the weekend.
Dylan Brown, you're trying to make him a 7, but he's predominantly been a very good 6. And then you're banged up already at the 6. I just, that's where the question marks were. I just don't see the growth, but I could see with some stability, maybe playing guys in some good positions, that they could do better than being right at the bottom like they were last year. But I still have concerns, with that spine, bad back. I don't really have too many issues with their back line. I think they've got plenty of talent there.
Their back line is pretty good.
Yeah.
Dom Young comes back. Greg Marju, it looks so strong. That try that he scored was 4 blokes hanging off him.
Yep.
And then 2 Origin centres in Dane Gago, admittedly maybe past his best, and Bradman Best, who has that history with the soft tissue.
Yep.
But everyone healthy.
Healthy, yeah.
That's a good outside back.
I'm just not sure they're going to have the platform to score points, which was largely their concern last year. So, Hopefully they get more of what they had on the weekend.
Promising signs. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what the Titans dish up, I think, on Saturday night. When we're talking about some of the bad teams, I think there's some concerns around the Cowboys, and we'll get to them in literally 2 teams' time. It's going to be a tough slog for some teams this year. And like we spoke about before, there's no real bad teams in the NRL, I don't think. But
they predicted Bears 17.
That looks bad.
That looks bad. So they've got another year. I was just like, geez, that team's getting the wooden spoon 100%.
They need to go after some big name guys off contract, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
Let's talk about the New Zealand Warriors. They're $26 to win the whole thing. They come 6th last year. They won 14 games. Unfortunately, they got the home final but ran into Penrith and got bumped in round 1. And we generally have a few disgruntled Warriors fans in the comments this year, but we've all got them out of the 8.
Yep.
11, 13. Marks, you reckon they're going off a cliff? I suppose you look at the outs and there's a bit of a reason potentially for that. They do bring in Lofi Khan Pereira, who we mentioned before, amongst a few sort of depth guys. Outs, they do lose a fair few first graders. Bunty Afoas, played a lot of first grade for them. Edward Cossey, winger, he goes. Dylan Walker, perennial utility across different clubs. Freddie Lussick, with their chop in 9, goes. And Setu 2, who I've just mentioned because he couldn't actually get a run at the Warriors, but he made his debut for the Dragons on the wing on the weekend, amongst others. So a fair few outs, plus Mitch Barnett, the news and him being quite open about his private life. Good insight into what guys have to deal with off the field, but has a sick kid essentially, and wants to come back to Australia, probably Sydney. He's from Taree. Originally, so the Knights maybe make sense for him coming back, and they
did he play for them before he went?
I think he's Can you look up? I think he is a Newcastle Knight early on, but the Waz Will Grant.
He's there this season though, isn't he?
That's right, but he's coming off an ACL.
Yeah. Oh, gee.
So his ACL was mid-season. Remember last year he played Origin.
Yeah.
We're like, oh wow, look at him go, and then the poor bloke does his ACL.
Yeah.
Misses out in the game 3 for Origin, misses the finals, run for the Waz, obviously was playing his best footy up until that injury, but dealing with some shit off the field, and the Waz, it seemed to be a good family club, granting the release at the end of the year, right?
Yep.
So he should come back and still get a half a season coming off the ACL. So then the question is, who makes a play at him? The Dragons have been going after off contract middles. Yeah, they've got a big one in Keen Colombatungi.
Yep.
The Knights sort of makes sense.
Did he play for the Knights? He played 126 games for the Knights.
Yeah, look at that before that. So he actually spent some time at the Raiders.
Yeah, played 2 games.
So juniors, Knights junior?
Played lower grades at Newcastle Knights, John Canberra. Yeah.
So I think Newcastle makes a lot of sense there for him.
Yep.
We're talking
Yeah,
about
I agree.
Parramatta having a play, if they've got a bargaining chip in Zach Lomax, but I don't know if trade a healthy Zach Lomax for a guy coming off an ACL that's older than him.
I'm not sure Lomax is going to go to New Zealand either. So
Yeah, well, if he wants to play NRL, he may not have a choice. You reckon rugby's calling?
who knows?
He's shot himself in the foot, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. If he doesn't play for a squad, can he play Origin?
No,
No.
it's all NRL.
Well, I guess they could pick him.
Can
No,
they pick?
they can't. I don't think they can't. It's associated with the NRL. I'm fairly sure that would be in the.
Yeah, but they brought Alfie back, remember? Alfie was
Yeah.
playing in England and they brought him back.
Yeah, he wasn't banned though. There's a difference between
He's
playing
not-
Super League and being banned.
He's not.
Yeah, but he's not
just
banned. He did-
contracted to the Eels. Like he's not.
He's not contracted to the Eels.
Sorry, he's not a free agent.
He is
Sorry,
a free agent. Because that was the whole
but
point
Eels
of his...
owns his rights.
No. They own... So
So
part
why
of
can't
his release...
Why can't he sign with any other team then?
Well, that was part of his release.
They need to consent it.
So the whole point...
Yeah.
That was the whole point of the court case is the terms of his release was they had these stipulations. So that's why he can't sign with anyone because in the stipulations they have to... say who he can go to and get something back, essentially. So that's why they had the whole big court case. So yes, his contract is officially over. Because I was thinking the same thing. Why doesn't he just go back and play for the Eels? That's because his contract has ended. Like he's been released. He doesn't have a contract, NRL contract.
Yeah.
But if he wants to play in the NRL because of his release contract, let's say the contract he signed to be released, says he has to do these things through them. So he could go and play rugby and something else like that. But
Anything outside the
News
NRL.
from today: Zach Lomax has been spotted at Rugby Australia.
I did see
it
that.
makes sense that he'd go play rugby somewhere for 2 seasons. So.
I was having a chat with a bloke who's a pretty big Wallabies fan. I was like, does Lomax walk into the Wallabies? And he's like, probably not. So they'll have Suoli'i probably on one wing, and potentially Marky Mark going back next year, who has the rugby background. That's maybe your 2027 World Cup wingers. Lomax obviously
He's got some sides he could potentially play elsewhere.
Very good NRL centre, but we haven't seen good transference in the centres.
Yes.
When the guys have gone across from league that are big league players, a lot of them end up playing inside centre.
Yep.
Sammy Burgess is playing inside centre for
Sonny Bill.
England. Sonny Bill, So I don't know if he's big enough and the game is maybe a little bit different to play in the centres in rugby union.
He'd be close to that size, but of course he's not Sonny Bill's size.
Sammy Burgess, nowhere near that, right? But again, I probably don't watch enough rugby to really know, if his skills would transfer. And then there's a difference, right, between playing centre for the Brumbies and then playing for the Wallabies.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's probably a few too many question marks at centre. It will be, does he want to go over and try and play on the Sting? And there's a big carrot at the end of the stick in that there's a World Cup next year at home. And look, if he can't be the starting winger, can he push for that Wallaby squad?
Yep.
Yeah.
So lots and lots of speculation. I don't know how we got onto Lomax, Warriors, Mitch Barnett. Okay,
you're right. Let's circle the way back because I think we've skipped over the big thing, Metcalf.
Yeah. The bloke was leading the Dally M last year.
Yeah, and bad ACL, trying to replace a retired Sean Johnson. I think their season's very dependent on how well he goes. Because I think they've got a pretty decent spine. Like, it's not well beater, but it's not the shittest. It's above average. I think they've got all really some decent guys there. But I think in that spine, he's the X factor that puts them over the top to potentially go deeper than where we think outside the 8.
I'm just going to bring up the casualty ward and look at when he's expected back because it was a mid-season ACL and he's obviously not named. I think it's still the first month or so.
Expected back round 7 is what you said there on the notes.
I've got to do the notes. There you go. I should just read my own notes. Round 7.
Maybe.
Round 7. So they're still got to go out there and you probably can't win the comp in the first 6 weeks, but you can lose it. Like if they start off poorly.
Technically, you can lose the first 10 rounds and still make the 8. So, like you don't want to do that, but it is doable.
It's cutthroat, isn't it?
Yeah.
The spine that they'll line up with tomorrow night is Chance at 1, Chanel Harris-DeVito at 6, Tanner Boyd at 7, Wade Egan at 9. Wade Egan is a good 9
Yeah.
these days. But yeah, I don't think that's a premiership winning spine right there. You throw a healthy Luke Metcalf with what he did last year, it does change things a fair bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, but usually you probably take a season to get back from an ACL as well, like to fully ramp up back to 100%.
I think it's kind of position dependent as well.
Yeah.
Like for halves, right, where a lot of it is kicking and having guys in position and setting up plays and being a game manager. I don't know if it's as important if a running game is not a big part of their game.
But Metcalf is.
Yeah, that's right. He's a good running half.
Yeah.
He's a good running half.
So,
and
because I was thinking all that lateral movement and the way he runs, like that's
horrible for ACL.
Yeah.
Like,
and if that's what you need to get to his best, like you're maybe not getting that this year. But yeah. But then that helps him learn the other parts of the game. I guess he's got to be less reliant on his talent and be more reliant on his say his wisdom as more of a game managing 7. That's maybe how he grows. And maybe this is a sort of a reset year, and they have to come back following year, and that's where they go for it. I think they're just in a tough spot, the old Warriors, unfortunately.
I swear this happens every year, but everyone sort of sleeps on them, and then the last few years at least, like they've made top 8 and played finals and up the Waz Nation and all the rest of it.
Well, yeah, I think
you're juggling for all those teams.
Their home field advantage, I think, has definitely grown
Yeah.
since COVID. There's been a lot more buy-in in the Warriors. Like it's not just it is a very rugby country, but they've started to cut out their own little niche.
Well, league's held its own, hasn't it? They're selling out every single week, and I think there's a strong case for the 20th team being a New Zealand team.
Yeah, getting a second New Zealand team, 100% agree.
A little tidbit doesn't really affect the how they're going to go this year. Have you ever seen so many double-barrel names in an NRL squad? Give it 1 through 7. Shans Nickel Clockstug, Dallin Wateen Zalesniak, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Lofi Khan Pereira. Tamari Martin's technically not double barrel, but it's still a mouthful. James Fisher-Harris. Keep going down because that's only in the starting 13. Actually, I don't think Khan Pereira's starting, but anyways. Then you got Harris DeVito is starting this week, and then there's a few in the rest of the squad in Iramir Tuiva.
So this is why they don't put names
Smith
on the back of jerseys in the end.
Yeah, they run out of fucking fabric.
Yeah,
Jesus. It's just an interesting thing when I was looking at the team, and a lot of these guys they've actually acquired over the last few years, right? Like Khan Pereira comes in, famously, taking C&K from the Raiders, and RTS coming back to him. So I don't know. James Fisher-Harris coming over from the Panthers. So I don't know if that's part of their recruitment strategy.
Has he got 2 last names?
Longest names.
Yeah, bro, get him in.
Anyway.
Did the Bulldogs have the names on the back of their jerseys?
Yeah, in Vegas they did.
Yeah.
Vegas?
Yep.
I thought I saw that. Yeah.
A little bit of a nod to the American market there, I think.
Yes.
Yes. Makes sense.
My one to watch, he's not really a one to watch because he looked very, very good last year, was 20-year-old edge-back rower Leka Halasima. I don't know if you boys remember that Newcastle game where he picked up the ball and it looked like, when there's a kid that's playing under 16s and he's way bigger than everyone else and no one can tackle him?
Yes.
Look like that in the NRL. He's very, very good. He's named to come off the bench this year. He does have a few errors in his game. He's only 20, right?
He's young.
Yeah, got to sort of work on that. But in terms of
he could still be grown.
Raw talent-wise, I think he's going to be one to watch, Leka Halasima.
We got him next.
Yeah, so Warriors, we've all got them out of the 8. Cue a few angry Up the Waz fans in the comments. Like to be proven wrong. This team is important to talk about. The North Queensland Cowboys, they're $34 at time of note-taking, potentially not at time of podcasting. I reckon they might have blown out a little bit after the weekend. They come 12th last year. They won 9 games. Todd Payton is maybe the coach on the hot seat. The
hottest seat, yeah.
Hottest seat. There's going to be a few, I'd reckon. And he's kind of done the reverse Fitzgibbon in that, like, they sort of started off pretty good with a team that made a prelim final, and then sort of year by year sort of gone the other way, down the ladder.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of their talent ended up in the Dolphins in Brisbane, so
everywhere. Val Holmes at the Dragons, Reece Robson leaving this year to go to the Roosters. They've just bled.
Well, they had Hammer there as well.
Yeah, that's right. So if they'd been able to retain talent, maybe it's a different story. So I don't know how much the coach actually has to do with that and how much is their football department and the rest of things.
Yeah, true. Depends on, go back to the Godfathers before. I think they probably have a lot of say in what their team makeup is. But it really depends on how the rest of it gets all put together.
I don't know if we've got a bit of recency bias, but it didn't look great on the weekend, particularly in the second half. You two have gone 14. I've gone 16. So we've all gone bottom 4. Do have a couple of good signings. Reid Marnie, very serviceable number 9. It's hard, though, because you lose Reece Robson, you lose the Origin hooker. So even though Marnie's still pretty good, you feel like that's a step down compared to last year.
Yep.
Matt Lodge, I don't know how many teams he's played for now in the last few years, but got a bit of a run. He's still a solid first grader. They bring in Sonny Luke as a bit of hooker coverage there from the Panthers. And they've also lost a bit of talent. Now, obviously, the big name loss is Reece Robson, but Jordan McLean, played a lot of first grade. He retires. Semi Valamai goes over to the Super League, who was, a starting centre not that long ago in the NRL. Carl Lawton, utility. Tom Duffy. So, outside of Robson, maybe no superstars, but a few depth kind of guys.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got them slightly ahead of some of the other spots purely because I think their spine is solid enough, above average enough, to win a couple games and finish higher. Like what they finished last year, 12th. So I think that's still a step back, but I also still think they're solid enough that they should beat those other bottom tier teams that we talked about previously.
Yeah, well, that's what we thought, right? And again, it's one game, but you'd have Newcastle in that category, right? So you don't want to go the whole, shape your whole season off what you saw on the weekend. But a few ominous signs. And granted, Scotty Drink had the rib cartilage injury, and they had to reshuffle, and Purdue went to fullback, and that's probably not his preferred position.
And Todd Payton probably spent most of the time on the pokies over there. So
rough. But I think it's going to be an uphill battle for the Cowboys. They're much like Newcastle in some regards, in that they've got some superstars.
Yep.
Right, Scotty Drinkwater, Tom Dearden, is winning Origin games off his own back.
Yep.
At times, and they've got Origin caliber forwards. Ruben Cotter. And a bloke that we'll talk about here in Highland Lukey, who was highly touted. He just has had a horror run to his start of his career, and has had an ACL reco and a couple injuries. But with Nanai out for the first half of the year, he stepped in and looked really good on the weekend. So they've got some good players there. Tabalolo getting towards the end. There's reports that he's got 0 cartilage left in his knees.
Yeah, his knees are cool.
Just an absolute warrior. The fact that he's still getting around and on the back end now of that really long deal, but certainly a shadow of his former self.
Yep,
and they sort of manage his minutes now a fair bit as well. So
you're not the 80-minute player anymure.
That's right. We're not getting Dally M to Taumalolo, but certainly a lot of veteran leadership out of him. So there's probably a few question marks around the pack. I think.
I agree.
In particular, and also maybe you don't have any out and out centers either. So Purdue and Chester. I think Purdue is probably best at 5'8", has chopped in at fullback. Definitely an elite talent. I think he's going to be a good player. It's just they got to sort of convert him defensively into a centre, and then Tom Chester comes in to play in the centres and hasn't played a whole lot of first grade. So maybe a few question marks there.
Going back to that recency bias, so you mentioned that the odds were $34. They have blown out to $51 now.
So how's that? So, and I wrote those notes last weekend, or maybe 10 days ago. It was before Vegas.
Yeah.
So they're blown out $17. We're sitting here saying you can't read into one game. It's just one game. The bookies go, oh yeah, we'll read into it plenty. Thank you. So they have blown out a little bit.
Where are they on the prediction markets, bro?
Yeah, they'll be bottom 4.
Yeah.
Be bottom 4.
Well, that has got them sitting there at, what would that be, 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is right where I think we're saying they're going to be.
And no sort of season enders from the weekend, but Scotty Drink's going to have some sore ribs for a little bit. I suppose the long turnaround is great for a rib injury. They might needle him up and try and get him through.
Yeah, true.
But he looked in considerable pain in the second half.
Yep.
And then Thomas McKaylee, who was the victim of a pretty bad cannonball tackle, really, from Tyson Frizzell, has done his MCL, so he'll miss sort of first 6 weeks too. So in a pack that's already missing Nanai, to lose a middle, they're already starting to look at a few injuries.
Yeah, well, did they have Matt Lodge play on the weekend?
He did, off the bench.
Off the bench, yeah. So he'll probably get more game time, but he's just an above average starter. He's nothing. He's no pain ass, that's for sure.
Oh, hang on. The grand final winner. That's probably wrong.
No, that's correct.
Grand final winner?
Yeah, that's
what you're looking at?
Yeah, that's what he
All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because there's no other way to rank him, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Minor premiership.
Minor premiership, you could
yeah.
do, but yeah.
Nah, the numbers was grand final winner is what I was looking at.
Yeah.
Done.
Let's put it this way, they're not winning the grand final.
Stranger things have happened, mate. Stranger things have
hell's
happened.
frozen over.
In the NRL?
Yeah, definitely in the NRL. Definitely in the NRL. All right, let's talk about a team that is currently getting stormed. The Parramatta Eels.
What's their live odds? I bet you it's blown out.
I reckon a bit longer than $23 at time of writing. They finished 11th last year. They won 10 games. They lost 14. They started actually really slow and then actually got things together towards the end of the year. Funny how that coincided with Mitch Moses' health and Jason Riles into his second full year at the helm. We spoke about it before, but massive loss in Dylan Brown going over to the Knights. They also lose again, much like a lot of other clubs.
A lot of name value.
Yeah, they've lost a big half or a big superstar, but then a lot of name value type guys. So Bryce Cartwright retires, Sean Lane retires, Joe Offengowie is off to England, Brendan Hands, who was chopping in off the bench, off to play in the Super League. Dean Hawkins, their half coverage, he's off to the Super League. So no, out and out stars other than Dylan Brown, but a lot of handy first graders gone.
Yep. Bad signs here for the Eels.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
This could be a big score.
Still 30 minutes left. Jack DeBellin comes across from the Dragons. I think
Storm look frisky.
He's still got a little bit of good footy left in him. Jonah Pezzett. This is an interesting one. So Pezzett comes on a 1-year deal, and he's already signed to Brisbane after it.
Yes, I heard about this.
Is that a problem in the NRL?
Yes, the contracts are so fucking dumb.
Why? He's there, and you're trying to get the best out of him this year, I guess. But they could just develop a guy for Brisbane to be their long-term Reynolds replacement, right? It just seems so counterintuitive to bring a guy across for one season. For then, I think it's a 3-year contract that he's got ahead going into 2027.
You think of what's happened with Reece Walsh or Harry Grant and things like that. You might get a good year out of him, but yes, you are.
You're the development team.
Development. Yeah,
exactly. The West Tigers. We'll develop James Tedesco and we'll develop Harry Grant, and then they'll go win comps elsewhere. It's got a lot of feel about that.
Like
as a Para fan, unless he can, lead you to the top 4 this year or do something this year, you're kind of like, well, what for?
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's how if he's at the Dragon on a 1-year deal, I'm kind of like, well, unless he's going to win us a comp, what's the point?
Yeah,
that's my feeling.
He's not going to be developing any younger players or anything like that.
No, it's just a band-aid solution for 2026.
Yeah, the contracts in the NRL are dumb like lots of things in the NRL. So
it's the the meme of the bloke sticking the tape on the water tank that's pissing out water.
Yes,
stick it on there for a year. Plug and play. There are some ominous signs here early for Parramatta. Again, this is 50 minutes into their season, so we shouldn't read too much into it. Going up against a team that never loses in round 1. Spine is Iongi, Pezzett, Moses, Smith. Outside of Mitch Moses, I think they've got a lot of work to do there.
Yeah, and this team's highly dependent on his health. Unfortunately for him, the last 2-3 seasons,
he's had the stress fracture in his foot, which reoccurred, so he missed two bouts of that.
Definitely the last 2 years.
And the ruptured biceps from Origin.
So, he's had a rough run. Harry Grant scores another one.
So
gets his
dude.
double. I think they're going to be highly dependent on his availability and how he goes, and likely he might even play Origin. And he recently hasn't been able to stay on the field, so which is a bad out for the Eels, unfortunately.
There are some positives. They have 0 injuries listed on NRL.com. Okay. And they have the second youngest playing group in the league, only behind the Tigers, who will finish the podcast on. So yes, whilst they have this peasant, try and not buy season, there is a young playing group there that could potentially grow leading into the late 2020s. But yeah, if Moses gets hurt again, I've got some major concerns.
Yeah, agree.
Some strengths. You look at that pack with Jaman Hopgood and Junior Polo, and Katonga has come on leaps and bounds. Jack Williams, I think, is their highest ranked Supercoach / fantasy player. Bring in Jack DeBellin. It's a solid NRL pack.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good pack.
Outside backs, Fox missing a little bit with the thumb surgery, but should be expected back sort of round 4. Bailey Simonson, Sean Russell, Will Penasini, serviceable guys.
Serviceable, yeah, but they're not the
they're
best.
not the big name there, being the Fox, I guess. So hopefully he's able to come back and play his best footy. You'd think a thumb is probably not the end of the world for a winger. They'll strap the hell out of that, I would imagine. And our one to watch is Talon De Silva. So we're stuck behind Api Coruscant over at the Tigers. I think he's only a 20-year-old hooker and wasn't getting much game time, understandably, behind Api. And Riley Smith, who himself is only 23, I think they could form a pretty good 1-2 punch moving forward.
So interesting to see if the Riley giving up that try, they get an early shower and bring him out.
Yeah,
different.
Yeah, there's some real ominous signs here for Parramatta. We've all gone.
Hate to get the 50 burger around one.
Oh yeah, you don't want that as a fan. You go, well, there is no point this year.
Season's done.
Like I said, the Storm they're looking frisky.
13, 13, 12. So we've
highly dependent on mismatches. Is why I've put them there.
But you can do that for anyone, right?
True.
There's only not anyone.
Lose your best player, they're going to be shit. Yeah,
probably. I suppose Brisbane, right? Like we've seen it when they've had one of their old dudes do soft tissue and they've got enough depth to cover. And even Penrith in their system, when Nathan Cleary's playing Origin, they can still win games.
Yep.
But it really seems to be the high end guys, high end teams that can cope with injuries to stars.
Yep.
But if there's any team that is really dependent on one guy, Parramatta's got to be pretty close to the top of the list.
Yes.
We'll see. Get us in the comments, Eels fans, if you think we're underrating you. But certainly from what we're seeing tonight, don't think we'll. Yeah. There's some ominous signs, we'll put it that way. Penrith Panthers, $6.50. They were a pea stick away from making another grand final last year. Pretty incredible.
Yeah. And after a really slow start.
Yeah, remember they were dead last for a little bit last year. You don't want to dig yourself too much of a hole, but they were able to get right at the right time. They're $6.50 to win the whole game. They still won 13 games last year, which is pretty incredible. Able to make a run from where they did. They had a tough assignment in going over to New Zealand and knocked off the Warriors, and then made it through to a prelim and just ran into the hottest team in the comp.
Yep.
Essentially.
That's it.
That game at Suncorp, that prelim, there was some good atmosphere. Just watching that through the telly and a fair bit of disdain for the Panthers up there. I think because it's not far from a New South Wales sort of from a superstar sort of lineup. So Cleary and Yo and Martin and Edwards. I think. I think there's a fair association there with the Broncos and Maroons fans.
Yeah, if you go back to the games the Broncos played in the finals last year, all of them were electric.
Dude, it was an all-time run.
All-time run.
Yeah, just crazy fullback, good experienced halves, best middle forward in the game. And then left it late. Like they come, I think all 3 games they come back from behind. Incredible. I can see why you've got some concerns about them winning the comp again. Well, not concerns. It's hard, I suppose, to go on a run like that, I guess.
Yes.
We've got Penrith 2-2-4, all the top 4. No big name ins at all, really. Jack Cogger comes back from the Knights. He may see a little bit of potentially some coverage in Origin, maybe. Freddie Lussick comes across from the Warriors, but really no sort of high-end guys coming across. Kalani Going, hard one of the surname. He's going from the Warriors. He's coming to the Panthers. He is in the starting 17 off the bench, I think, tomorrow night. But I suppose from a name value perspective, no one massive. It would be interesting to see what Going has got in him. They do lose some guys, but compared to the losses that Penrith's had over the last 4 years, probably their best year in terms of not losing superstar talent. When they're in the likes of Kikau, Burton, Crichton, Coruscant, Luai.
Luai was the big one, I think. That kind of really reset their team last year. I think they had to really think about their structures and chemistry.
Well, that was my one to watch is Blake Talangi. He's played a lot of first grade, but they have had a noticeable downturn, I would say, at least in, week out. Like, they still went on a pretty mad run in finals. But Luai has always been touted as the Robin to Nathan Cleary's Batman. And it turns out that, Batman needs his Robin, it seems, at times. He's been instrumental in grabbing the Tigers and picking them up off the bottom of the table, and be interesting to see what Wests have got in them this year.
Definitely.
But yeah, when you think of the guys that they've lost in years past, it's not actually a horrible year. Do lose a few sort of depth type guys. So Dane Laurie, Sonny Luke, Brad Schneider, all sort of, utility back hooker kind of guys. They lose Maverick Geyer over to the Tigers. So Son, they're a big MG, but again, not a week in, week out first grader. David Farley was sort of, couldn't get himself into their outside backs. He didn't start for the Dragons on the weekend, but he might feature. But yeah, no massive name losses this year.
Yeah, I think for me, the big one is Dylan Edwards. I think post-Origin last year, his form kind of just fell off a cliff. And from what I saw in some of the trial games, it was just like, I think he's lost his confidence a little bit. And that's what I want to see him kind of get back to.
You see him get steamrolled by Makasimi?
Yes. I think it was like, feel bad for you, bro.
To be fair, I think anyone, we'll get to
I think most fullbacks are probably getting steamrolled by him. So.
He looks like a generational talent. We'll get to him.
Unless you're like the Latrell's build playing fullback, you most likely getting steamrolled. But I feel like, he's kind of found out in the Origin through that period. And then, I kind of feel like, there's a bit of confidence there lacking. And for this squad that's, had the turnover and things like that, he's one of their senior dudes and really needs to be, say, maybe that Robin a little bit there for Cleary to be able to get back to where they were, compete against Melbourne come finals time.
Who would you least like to see as a Queensland fan wearing one for New South Wales this year?
Hard to say.
Teddy had a pretty crazy year.
He had a crazy year, but I'm less concerned because Teddy's also fucking old. So, and he had plenty of concussions in his time.
Ordinary knees too.
Yeah. So, if that doesn't scare me, I'd probably get more scared if Tommy T's back there, healthy after a good run at the start of the year, then
2021 Tommy T.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's a big ask.
Yeah, that's a big ask. That scares me versus, maybe out of form Edwards in an old Tedesco, for example.
It's going to be an interesting conversation because it would be unusual, you'd think, to drop your skipper.
To bring back your old skipper.
Teddy being the old skipper. To drop him, to then replace him with Edwards.
And then to bring him back.
To then bring him back. But I'm sure Teddy would be hungry to play.
He's coaching Origin this year for
Blues again. Have we got anyone announced?
Is it Laurie? Or is it Laurie still?
I think it is, yeah.
It is?
Yeah, I think he's still contracted. Yeah, is my feeling. We had the year with Michael Maguire and we're all up and about and we go, we won Origin, and then he goes and wins a comp straight away with the Broncos, and I don't think he's been getting particularly enough credit. Well, definitely not from Gordon Tallis.
No.
That's for sure. Reckons Kevin Walters would have done it with that group. It's Laurie, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's still
Laurie.
Is there a contract there? Does it say that just this year? Does it say, is he...
I didn't think it was a super long one, but I could be
They tend not to go too long in Origin.
No.
Don't know. Anyways, 2026 it'll be Laurie Daly.
That's it.
Anyways, we're talking about the Panthers and not about the New South Wales Blues. We've all got
They're very similar.
We've all got them top four. We've all got them top four. Do we have any concerns around them?
No. Well, I think I've said my concerns. I think
Edwards' form.
Yeah, and do they have someone that can pair well with Cleary? So you're six. So
Talangi's no Jerome Luai yet.
Yeah, yet. But that's the thing. Is that yet? We'll see what Ivan can do with them and see if they can improve and get better.
They do lose Scott Sorensen next year to the Perth Bears. So, a handy first grader on the edge there.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If last season's anything to go by, they can start off slow, still make the 8, and run deep in the finals. It doesn't matter where they finish the season. It's finals footy that.
They're another team that's let's see what happens come September.
Yep.
I want to talk about their outside backs. Everyone knows Brian To'o. Week in, week out, one of the best wingers in the game. Gets through immense work as Harry Grant is
let's hope he's not hurt.
Calling for assistance there. reaching at hammy/back of the knee.
Yeah, he was grabbing an ankle a minute ago.
We'll keep an eye on this.
His left ankle.
But in terms of the other guys, the young guy, Tungo has sort of shown that he's an elite centre. Alamotti, who was like the man at Canterbury, and then leaves Canterbury to go to the Panthers. He's done the reverse of everyone else. He looks pretty good. And Casey McLean, probably going to be a New Zealand outside back again. So in terms of scoring points, they look really good.
Got rolled up. His ankle got trapped underneath.
Own player, friendly fire.
Friendly fire. He got a bad high ankle sprain, maybe.
Yeah. Hopefully not a full Cindy, but watch this space because he's been really good. They've got another guy. They got blokes coming off left, right, and centre here, Melbourne. So they've won, but what's the cost going to be?
Yeah, it's still early there.
Yeah.
Early doors.
Could you see Penrith winning the comp this year?
Yeah, definitely. They're going to be there and thereabouts. I think we said it. They're a September team. Like come September, we'll see what they're doing, and again, make a good run and and like last year, and they could definitely win the comp.
Agree.
Do you think it's more that they'll meet expectations of the final footy?
It's
or
like
is
watching an NBA game, no defense. They're just going, fuck it, we'll just throw the ball around.
Is it more that
in relation to the game that we're watching?
Game we're watching, yes. Sorry.
Going back to Penrith.
Yeah, is it more that they'll like just meet their own expectation, or do you think it will be
I think
other
their expectation
teams?
is grand finals.
Yeah. So other teams will drop off from where we expect. So like we've got Storm and Broncos up in 1 and 2. Do you think that they will probably not meet expectations through finals, and that's where Penrith comes in, or is it more Penrith is just too good?
I think there's a pretty clear tier one. And it's those two teams that you mentioned and the Panthers. So I would have Storm, Panthers, and Broncos as tier one. And then I would have in tier two, all these teams that we're talking about at the top of the show. It's handy actually alphabetically. In that Canberra, Canterbury, and Cronulla. We probably see them all as top 8 teams. And we'll get to the Roosters in a second. But I think they're quite clearly tier two.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you said to me right now, any of those tier one teams win the comp this year, I'd say, makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. You say to me, Cronulla wins the comp this year. I say, that's good for the league.
Well, yeah. What do you know that I don't?
That's good for the league. Where Magic Canberra, there was a lot of hype.
There's a lot of excitement around.
And looking forward to being the best team in the comp, leading into finals, which hadn't happened since the early 90s last year.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then couldn't do it in finals, right?
Yeah.
So I think that there is still a pretty clear tier system. And 1 and 2, hands down in the 2020s, has been Penrith and Melbourne.
Yeah.
And I think we've got to throw Brisbane there as the incumbent.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a couple Sydney squads that are coming up that we could enter that kind of conversation.
That is a great segue, Sean, into the two oldest clubs, the two fiercest rivals in Souths and the Roosters.
Yeah.
I think alphabetically, St George is actually in between. Let's go Souths and then Roosters because I think they are probably more likely to feature in the top 8.
Yes.
Pains me to say it.
What do you mean?
Souths last year had to turn it on in the last month of footy to avoid the wooden spoon. They ended up finishing 14th. They won 9 games, but they did win 3 of their last 4 to climb out of
banged up
spoon
at the
territory.
start of the season.
Last 2 seasons has been horrendous from an injury standpoint, and already not off to the best start.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be some questions there.
Which is why I think I've put them 12th. Is like I've already seen the health issues, and I was like, the slide's on already, unfortunately.
I think there's also a few question marks around spine.
Yep.
So Jai Gray does his work, but we're talking about undersized guys in the NRL. He's certainly one of the shortest guys in the NRL. Cody Walker.
But he's been good though. He's
a good player.
He's kind of beaten out Mitchell for that spot.
I think Mitchell's just a centre.
I think that's what Wayne's saying. Is just like he's good enough fullback that he can fill that role really well, and Mitchell, could play it maybe his more natural position and be a centre.
Cody Walker will be their 6, but more and more history with soft tissue. He's not getting any younger.
Another one of those bad hemis.
They have about 3 guys that could play 7. Ashton Ward is named and will be him for the foreseeable future because Jonah Glover, the bloke that they brought across from the Dragons, who took the Dragons New South Wales Cup team to the grand final last year, broke his jaw in about the first 3 minutes of the Charity Shield, so he'll miss the first half of the year. And they also have probably the biggest rig 7 in the league in Jamie Humphries. I don't know if you've seen him, but he's got some absolute Warwick Farms on him. But there's question marks about who's their best 7.
Yep.
Pete Mamazoulis will be the 9. They do have the Cheese, but he's dealing with a calf, probably not expected back till about round 4 himself.
A month, I think they've said.
Potentially a few questions around the spine. I suppose fully healthy where there's 0 questions is the rest of the team.
Yep.
Because outside backs of Alex Johnson, who's going to break the try scoring record, barring calamity, in the first month or so of footy, he
himself needs to stay. He was a bit banged up last year, so stay healthy.
He's had a few hammies, hasn't he? But playing outside Latrell, he should get that record sometime soon.
Sportsbet has it as first half of round 3.
Round 3, they reckon. Yeah. So he needs 2 to equal 3 to have it outright.
Yep.
And he's 31, I'm pretty sure. Wild. Bloke could score 250.
Yep.
And then on the other side, you've got fully healthy Jack Whiten and Campbell Graham. Mm-hmm. So when all 4 of those guys, that's probably the best outside backs in the comp.
Yep. Fully healthy, like you can't.
Fully healthy.
You can't beat that.
Getting Graham back after.
Yeah, he's missed a lot of footy.
Missed a lot of footy last year after basically being in the Australian squad. So I think they've got a definitely very talented backline. Then
you go to the forwards, and you got a healthy Cameron Murray comes back off the Achilles. You got Dave Fafita, who on his day is the best edge back rower in the comp. You got Keon Koloamatangi, who is excellent, and looking forward to seeing him in the Red V next year. Ewan Aiken does a job. Tavita Totola does a job. They're going to be an elite team. I think outside of the spine, they're looking good. Bronson Garlick's actually named at 9 on the weekend with Mamazoulis in the 14.
Yep.
So there might be a few question marks there around who is their best 9. But question marks on 7, question marks on 9. The Melbourne Storm are running up a football score. Parramatta in danger of 50 burger in round 1.
On the second tackle after it's just scoring, the front rowers just run through the line and run 60. So
turnstile stuff here.
Last was at the defence.
And then penalty on top.
Is disappeared, and I think they've just sin bin someone. Yeah. Simonson has got. Yeah.
Simonson to the bin. This is a 50 burger.
Season done. Eels, put a line through them.
65 minutes and we're putting lines through teams.
That's it.
Oh, boy.
On paper, South Sydney is like one of the better teams in the comp.
Well, they had the same thing last year. That was kind of my argument last year. Everyone was like, it's like on paper they're a good team. If they're healthy, they should do well. And then, of course, they weren't heafy.
But they started the year banged up.
Yeah.
And listen back to the table. I said South for Spoon last year. But after
got a bit of health and then
23 rounds, I was pretty close. I've gone full turnaround. I've got him coming 9th. Monks, you got him 9th. Sean, you got him 12th. We've all got him in that knocking on the door of the 8. But
I think healthy team, like they should make the 8. If not healthy, then they can finish anywhere.
Some question marks as well. I think that we've just highlighted 7 and 9 in particular.
Yeah, exactly.
But agreed. And look, they're building towards something, aren't they? Imagine that pack next year. Yeah, you lose Koloamatangi, that hurts, but you're taking Payne Haas over Keon Koloamatangi. That's no disrespect to Keon. They're going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
$21 is what I've got for them to win the whole comp. I did Tallis Duncan as the one to watch. Cemented himself as one of their edge back rowers last year. One of the best names, named after Gordon Tallis. It's cool for us to see. As 30-somethings, and they've got memories as kids of the Raging Bull and how scary a player he was. That there's guys named after him now.
It's 46.
46 kick to come. Melbourne Storm. All right, let's talk about the Sydney Roosters. They're $7.50 to win the whole thing. Trent Robinson returns as their coach. We've all got them top 8, but a little bit of a spread here. Monks, you've gone 3rd. Sean,
Smoky.
You've gone 5th. I've gone 6th. I think odds on, I think there might be 3, I think. Yeah,
they're not one of those teams that regularly finishes in the top 4.
Yeah, they are 4 at 7 at that 750.
So we had our tier 1, right? So Brisbane, Penrith, Melbourne.
Knocking on the door there.
So these guys might be the top of tier 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Do I think DCE puts them over? Hard to say. I think
turns 37 this year.
Yeah, I more think.
Don't remind me.
Walker, his season is where they all kind of feel it finish up. So to see how he does and can he stay healthy for the whole year, I think is a big thing. I think with DCE there, it's going to push him into 6, isn't it? So,
Yep, that's how they've named it.
Yeah, which I don't love because I think he's definitely a out-and-out halfback.
Yeah, well, we're talking about all these teams that don't have out-and-out halfbacks. These guys have got two.
Yeah. So, they lose. Smith was playing in 6 for them last year, wasn't he? So
Sandon, yeah,
yeah,
and Townsend before Walker comes back. So on paper they have actually improved, but getting time playing together, Sammy Walker and DCE still got to gel.
I think Robinson actually switching for Cheese is probably a bigger improvement. So
massive on paper, like it's incredible.
They're a good team.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they bring it. They already were good on paper, and then they bring in Reece Robson and DCE.
Yep.
Yeah.
Granted, Robson to miss a little bit at the start with a broken thumb, but should be sweet by sort of round
and
4.
DCE, he's almost in a wheelchair. He's that old. So
same age as you boys.
yeah, exactly.
Don't remind me. You mean I could still be playing in the NRL?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. There's
still hope.
There's still a hope.
There's still time.
Probably not hope for the Eels.
Yeah. Didn't really mention it with Fogarty in Manly, but same with DC. It's kind of like how well does he gel with the team to make an immediate impact?
Yeah. Is he Cooper Cronk is essentially the question.
Well, it's this year or bust, right?
100%.
So we're talking about that with the Broncos and Payne Haas leaving and their ageing halves. It's even more apparent, I think, with the Roosters because you have 2 guys that will go back to rugby in Marky Mark and Angus Crichton that will try to make a push for the Wallabies next year. So they lose a top try scorer from last year and who's looked like an absolute athletic freak at times. Try of the year last year from Marky Mark. And then they've lost a staple New South Wales and Australian player in Angus Crichton. Going back to some rugby chat, it's interesting. I think Angus Crichton, we're talking about playing inside centre. There might be that might be more feasible when he goes to rugby than playing flanker. That's a huge forward pass.
Let it run.
They're going to score? No, they're not. Still no 50 burger yet. There's still 10 minutes left. Melbourne have 46. Back to the
Knock on by the Eels.
Chooks. Back to the Chooks.
Getting fucked.
We've all got them in the top 8. This is the one where it's like, I think this is the turning point for me where it's like, can they win the comp? I think yes. And then it's the other ones that I'm like, you got to prove it to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised.
They've got the list that can definitely win a comp.
But I still have them top of tier 2.
Yep.
I don't have them up in tier 1 yet because there's a few too many question marks.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Those 2 halfbacks, one's old and the other one's coming back from more injuries. So I want to see them, play well.
Even I suppose just from
did
where
Walker
they
do
are.
his ACL at the end of the...
Yeah, so remember he had a partial ACL.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then in the last game, I think, of the 24 season, it must have been, he had a pretty innocuous mechanism in the in-goal.
And then he played...
I'm pretty sure I texted you boys, I was like, that looks like an MCL.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten that he'd had a partial. And
then
I was like, and then I was like, this is not good. Yeah. Because the chances of that partial progressing to a full... you give it time. Yeah.
But that was that end of 2024? Or was that end of last season?
No, it's 24.
24. So
he came back last year.
He came back last
year. And played the end of last year.
Yeah.
So he should be ready to rip and tear.
Did he have a concussion or something at the end of last year?
Yeah, he might have missed a game or 2. But he played...
Yeah, he didn't play a huge amount of last year, regardless.
Yeah, but he played at the right end of last year and he's now had a full off-season. So I don't think there's going to be any question marks around him. There might be some other question marks.
Yep.
About, can you have 2 out-and-out sevens and, who's going to play, who is going to be...
Yeah, well, Walker's not a running 6 or anything like that. So
they're very similar, comparable type guys.
Yeah. There's a lot of chat about Walker, whether he can push for Tom Deaton's spot in the Queensland team. So it'd be interesting to see how that kind of... If he's going to be a halfback, how that kind of fits with the Roosters now making him a 6. So.
Deaton's fucking pretty good, but... Presumably the 6-man thing goes into Origin, so I wonder if they carry then a third half in that sort of setup.
Also, very possible.
Yeah,
that makes those rounds in Origin very interesting.
Yeah, because they're actually going to have more guys.
You've got bigger squads for Origin. Those club games are going to be even more important.
Yeah, I wonder how many they'll carry because you always lose a guy to be an 18th man, which must be incredibly frustrating for him anyways. That doesn't get on. And sometimes a 19th that goes into camp, but then will come back and play. So, that's presumably there is 2 guys that miss. So there's a couple more guys that will miss each time.
Yeah, well, there's guaranteed 19 and there's probably the 2 guys extra to coverage. So maybe it's like 21 kind of thing in a squad.
I think I reckon they might go back to their squads.
Yeah.
Because once you've got 19 and 2 are coverage anyway, you don't need to have a 20 and 21.
They get released.
Yeah, true.
So they'll probably have a 20 and 21 for the squad and the training camp, and then they'll go back and play with their club. So I'm speculating.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What have we got left?
I've got one to watch there. So 13 on the weekend for them will be Blake Steep. He's a 20-year-old. He has already made his NRL debut. Played actually a fair bit last year, mostly off the bench. But with the Robson injury and Connor Watson not coming in to the starting squad, Blake Steep has got that 13 on his back. And they'll line up with Benny Iolu, I think. He's going to be the 9 just for the first few weeks. So, opens up a massive door for Blake Steep to try and cement some regular first-grade time.
Yeah. I saw in the notes here you put, is Robbo under any pressure? And I'd say probably not because they
won 2 comps with it.
Yeah, and they always do pretty well, but...
I suppose they...
Like who are you going to sack and replace him with to put you over the edge?
There's
no one.
There is no one.
If Craig becomes available and he wants to come up, maybe, but otherwise, there's no one really available that you could go, that they're just going to be significantly better than what we have.
I have this in the notes, after a few conversations with fellow rugby league nuffies who think, given what Trent Robinson has been given in terms of the squad.
Should win more.
Through the 2020s. Why haven't they been able to get to the grand final?
Melbourne, Penrith.
I think
there's a pretty obvious reason
there. And whilst we are big fans of US sport, I don't think you can extrapolate directly from US sport, right? So we saw Sean McDermott get fired after the Bills have won a playoff game every year for the last 5 years.
We're very close.
But I suppose the expectation there is Super Bowl, okay?
Yeah.
It's not a great comparison because he's already won 2 of these things.
I think the big difference there is there's also fuckloads of dudes trying to bang the door down to be head coaches because they have that really heavy...
incredible
They
depth.
do have the systems.
They have the systems, the roadmaps.
Yeah, that's right. You can bring in a guy like Liam Cohen at Jacksonville, and apologies for guys that are listening that aren't big NFL fans, but we obviously talk a lot about it on this show, who can come in and have immediate success because the depth and the coaching trees, and they've all learnt under different gurus. You can't extrapolate. When you look at the NRL...
I guess there's enough assistants and things running around, but it's kind of...
But who comes in and has immediate success?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
true.
No one. We've seen Cameron Ciraldo and building, coming out of that Penrith system. We've seen Andrew Webster, coming out of a good system and being okay, but they don't leave and win the comp, right?
Yeah.
Really, outside of...
That's it.
Well, do the maths. Outside of Michael Maguire, Ivan Cleary and Craig Bellamy, you got to go back to Robbo, but the last decade, the last 12 years, there's only been 4 guys that have won. You got to go back to 10 years if you go back to Cronulla in 2016, right?
Yeah, that's it.
So the high end NRL coach is probably more sought after and by proxy safe. I would think. Yeah. I think it's more just sort of speculation.
That's it. I think I haven't said it this year, but the last couple of years when we've done our preview for the NRL, I've always asked the question about, is this Ricky's last year at the Canberra Raiders? And it kind of similar sort of sentiment, who's going to replace him?
No, who's better than Ricky Stewart at coaching the Raiders?
Yeah, that's it. So
arguably Ricky's the best that he's ever been.
Yeah.
Minor premierships with a list that on paper probably shouldn't have been minor minor premiers. A lot of that's got to come down to coaching, right?
100%, yeah.
So, I had it in the notes because I've heard it in conversation. Probably more of a devil's advocate thing. I think Robbo will be completely safe, and I think they'll play finals footy.
He's got more concerns about cocaine than getting sacked.
Well, not him personally, but the zero drugs policy from Uncle.
No golf trips, boys. No golf trips.
I'd assume he's got no problems because technically no one should be doing anything.
Under Nick Politis, famously hardline on drugs.
Yeah.
In the eastern suburbs of Sydney. Interesting. That comment means nothing. Let's talk about the St George Illawarra Dragons. 15th last year. They only won 8 games. They lost the most games last year by a try or less, and as it started this season.
Yeah.
Winning close games seems to be the kryptonite of the Big Red V in the last few years. Shane Flanagan, we spoke about Todd Payton being a sort of hot seat type of coach. I do wonder if the Dragons get off to a poor start in the first month, if there's going to be, a few media sort of question marks. I think he's actually very safe. I think they're really building.
Well, he's already said we're throwing the season away, so
He didn't say that.
we're not expecting to win very much.
Probably not winning the comp this year. In verbatim is what he said. He didn't say we're fucking throwing the season away.
Hey, well, if
Mad
you
Monday,
don't want to
here
win
we-
the comp, it's basically throwing the season away.
What are your thoughts on that comment? Is it okay to be a realist?
Losers mentality.
You reckon you need to be unrealistic and say we're going to win the comp every single year?
We go back to the NFL. What do you think they're going to say?
Do you think the
It's that cut. Well,
Do you think the Cleveland Browns or the Oakland Raiders have belief that they can win the Super Bowl every year?
no, but I don't think the head coach is going to come out and
Yeah,
say
that's
we're
fair.
going to fucking lose the
Yeah.
Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's some things you just don't say to the media.
Exactly.
I suppose. Yeah.
You always got to push the like, hey, we're in with the chance. Like,
Yeah.
We're
We're
all
building
0-0.
something.
It's not over till the
Yeah.
fat lady sings.
bingo.
And speaking of, Parramatta can't win the comp.
Parramatta definitely can't win the comp if that stands.
Suafailongo crosses. Melbourne
For a
have 50
Hattie, I think?
in round one.
If it stands.
Yes. Back to the Dragons.
Mm-hmm.
No massive in. So Daniel Atkinson comes across, who was a handy utility off the bench kind of player for Cronulla.
Yep.
But I think he played 4 full 80-minute games last year.
Yeah.
So comes in to put 7 on his back, to partner up with Kyle Flanagan on paper. Maybe the worst half pairing in the competition. David Farley comes across from Panthers. Josh Kerr returns to the Dragons from the Dolphins. A few big name outs. Jack DeBellin, who we've seen tonight with the Eels. David Clemmer goes over to the Super League. Tom Eisenhuth has retired. We spoke about Jonah Glover, the young talent who unfortunately broke his jaw. He goes over to South. Lachlan Ilias goes over to the Titans. So they have sort of played their hand in, look, we've got Flanagan, we've got Atkinson, we've got Larkin Tonga. We don't have room to carry other halves. And Cody Ramsey goes over to the Roosters. Michaeli Ravalawa, who wasn't playing first grade last year, but played a lot on the wing for the Dragons in years past, goes over to Castleford. So a lot of outs, no real superstars, but maybe concerning from a depth perspective.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the spine's the big concern. If you had to rank them, they're probably pretty close to the bottom. So, and I think that's the big issue. And they didn't significantly improve over last year. So, I just think it's bad signs at the moment.
I think Gutho and Cook are still reasonable first grade players. Damien Cook made 70 tackles on the weekend.
Had to, though.
That's true. That's true. I suppose you maybe don't want your mid-30-something hooker having to play 80 minutes and make all those tackles. Jacob Little will come back from injury and he might not have to play as many minutes, and that might be good for the longevity of his season. But I definitely don't think he's completely over the hill.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've seen the beach sprints, bro.
That's right. He's a beach sprinter, bro. Actually, he's very sneaky strong as well for a smaller guy. I've seen some gym work from both him and Gutho, probably a bit stronger than maybe what you would expect. But yeah, agreed. It's a bottom 4 spine.
Yep.
And whilst the forward pack is probably improving, there's still, from an experience standpoint, a lot of question marks. Having said that, I've got Ryan Couchman as my one to watch here. He's coming off an ACL. The Couchman twins, Toby and Ryan, looked incredible. They're both Illawarra juniors. I think they'll be a staple of this forward pack moving forward. And then they do have the likes of Halangahu and Pacifici Tonga, who are young, big, strong guys. They maybe have one of the best younger groups of forwards coming through. Outside backs, okay. We saw Setu 2 make his debut at the age of 27. Couldn't get a gig with the Warriors, so he was okay. Just needs to make sure he's not doing any escorts and giving away penalties on their own goal line. Val Holmes carrying a bit of some sort of soft tissue, but played out through the game. Moses Sully.
I did? Okay.
Yeah, he played out. He wasn't taking the long field goals, though.
Oh.
So there may have been some sort of lower limb concern there.
Yeah.
It was Atkinson and Flanagan mostly taking turns. Moses Sully had a good game other than one real bad defensive lapse, which led to Canterbury's first try. And then who'd they have on the other side? They didn't pick Sloan. It was Tui Piloto, of course, who actually was pretty good last year. Just had a few recurring hamstrings.
Yep. Yeah.
Monks,
Not good signs for him, unfortunately.
Dragons fan, you still reckon bottom 4?
Yeah, I suppose still bottom 4. Again, you kind of hit the nail on the head with the spine. Probably missing a few key players there.
Were you encouraged by what you saw on the weekend?
Yeah, I think so. Like the fact that, I mean, again, first round in Vegas, who knows what the rest of the season's going to hold. But the fact that they kept Canterbury to 15 points, was able to score some points themselves.
Didn't get the rub of the green in terms of what Shane Flanagan said?
Oh, about not winning the comp?
No. He said in terms of that game, we didn't get the rub of the green, which I have to agree with.
Gotcha.
But there's also a systemic problem with winning close games.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Well, their closer's playing for Brisbane, so
yeah,
there is that.
Missy Dozer.
That's it. Last season, coin flip, and you probably win half the games you lose. So
Generally how it goes.
that's
Mr. John Madden there, no table.
very true.
See, what you have to do here, Al, is score more points than the other team.
Yeah,
that's it.
I just don't see the Dragons doing that often enough this year.
I've got deja vu from last year because they lost by 1 point to South in round 2, a game that they had a big lead. They lost famously in round 5 to Parramatta with a Zach Lomax field goal to sink them in that game. They were able to win a few close games and they weren't getting blown out of the park. For the most part, there was a very bad game against South and a very bad game against the Dolphins. But they just had so many. They lost against the Warriors by 1 point. So there's obviously some sort of issue at the club with winning close games.
With the head coach.
They also beat, like I said, they beat Brisbane. They beat Melbourne. Like they can beat good teams.
You don't have to sell it to me. Like I still think they can get the spoon.
You've gone spoon.
But I think I've gone spoon for the entire time we've been doing this podcast.
Yeah, how many have they got in that time, Sean? Answer me that. Riddle me that. No finals appearances in that time.
But so I'm doing you a solid. So I keep picking the spoon so they keep not
so we come 15.
That's it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, that being said, the next team who has gotten the spoon in the last few of those seasons is definitely turning a leaf.
Let's talk about the West Tigers because I think they've got a lot to be excited for. Okay, they're $41 to win the whole comp under coach Benji Marshall. We've all got them sniffing for the 8, but
I think that's where
no one's in.
They're a sniffing team.
A few sniffers.
No, that's the Rooster. There's a layout. We have to take that one. I think they're one of those teams that should be fighting for a top 8 spot, like for the 8th position. It'll become towards the end of the year, and they'll be there. Mathematically trying to make it into that. That's 100% where I think they'll be.
10, 10, 11 is what we've gone. So we've all got them very close, sniffing, if you will. Amel and the sniffers, but not quite in. A lot to be excited about because Penrith rolled out a pretty strong team in that trial game and West were able to beat them. And we'll get to their young winger in just a moment because I think there's a lot to be excited about. In terms of signings, Kai Pearce-Paul's probably the only out-and-out first grader that comes in. They do bring in Maverick Guy and Jock Madden. Yep. But they, other than Lachlan Galvin is an out because of contracts and whatnot, but we've already seen. That's right. That's old news. So really their only true outs are Jack Bird, who goes over to the Super League, and Talon De Silva, who we mentioned earlier in the show, going to the Eels. So in terms of ins and outs, not too bad. They bring in a pretty handy edge-back rower, and they have a few guys go that aren't elite first-grade talent anymore.
Got the Mays there, so I think they're a talented team. Talented enough team, and kind of another one of those guys on teams on the ascendancy.
What about the spine? You like to talk about spines a lot. Buller,
Yep.
Luai, Dewey at 7, and Coruscant at 9.
Yeah.
You think Dewey not an out-and-out 7?
Yeah, that'd be my question mark in that team. So, and I think that was kind of the question mark where last year when they started with Lockie Gavin was like, who's playing 6 and who's playing halfback? So is Luai going to be a 7? We get another one of those teams trying to convert him, or is he definitely a better out-and-out 6 and then you need to get a strong 7? So I think they're an interesting team to see how that kind of all plays out. It's probably why they added Jock Madden.
Depth coverage.
Another option to potentially try if something doesn't work out. But I don't think he's going to be banging the door down.
No. They haven't played finals since 2011.
Yep.
That is a long drought. It's 15 years since they've played finals footy. Granted, they didn't get the spoon last year, but they also weren't world beaters. They're just going in the right direction, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's some belief, which there hasn't been in years past.
In terms of belief, what is their ceiling? So we've got them sniffing the 8. Can they actually play finals if everything falls their way?
This would be the first year I'll say yes. Yeah, I think they're ceiling absolute. Everyone playing out of their skin, no injuries. 7th or 8th.
Yep.
Would be my feeling. But that's the first time I've said that in years.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something to be excited about, right?
Yeah.
It's only a trial. We've seen, that you can't take too much out of trials, but they looked incredible in that trial.
Yep.
And they have this 18-year-old kid who might be the most exciting talent in the league, in Hiamasi Makasini. We spoke about that try. Everyone's seen that try, right, of him getting the ball on the outside and bumping 3 high-level first graders down that left side to score in the corner as an 18-year-old. Like, I took a double take when I saw his year of birth. I was like, he just is already so big and so strong. He's got time to grow into his fame even more. And the ceiling for his career in the next 2 or 3 years could be like incredibly high.
Anything.
Yeah.
But you also don't win comps off an 18-year-old winger.
No.
So
it's all around spines.
Yeah, that's right. I think healthy. I think that this is probably the first year that a realistic expectation would be to try and push for the 8.
I was going to say,
agree.
I think it's just too many other good teams, right?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, again, saying like between 6 and 12, it's
anyone's.
Could be anyone.
It's anyone's. We had our tier 1 teams before of Storm, Panthers, and Broncos. I'd be very surprised if any of them miss. What we spoke about the Roosters before, we're probably not missing the 8.
Yep.
That's 4 teams. If the minor premiers last year, I don't think they're going from 1st to 9th.
Yep.
Realistically, Canterbury pretty good. That's 6 teams already, right?
Yeah.
So then this middle of the pack, it starts to become this really tight battle between the West Tigers, between the Dolphins, between Souths. Manly, they got to be there or thereabouts. I think from what we've just seen, recency bias, but maybe Parramatta pushing more towards that bottom tier. But there's still a lot of teams in that mid tier that their ceiling is finals football. But the harsh reality of the NRL, they could also come 14th.
Yeah, that's it.
Agree.
Makasini, one to watch. Maybe the most exciting talent in the NRL this year. He will be on a lot of people's fantasy and Supercoach teams. That is for sure. That will wrap us up. I think it's good. We're going to get in and out in under 2.5 hours, which is not bad for a season preview. Let us know in the comments what you think, if we've been overs on any team, if we've been unders on any team, if there's any young NRL talent that we haven't mentioned in the show, if you think we've been harsh on anyone's signings or anyone's spine. We'd love to know your comments. This is On The Esky from our new studio. We're not overly happy with the setup we have the desk just yet. We may play
more tweaking to come.
Play around. Sean wants to look in my eyes. Interesting. Ooh, baby. Oh,
that's off the podcast. That's the other one, remember?
Oh, yeah. We'll probably make more money off that. Only Eskies, all right. People pay us not to put that on the internet, potentially.
100%.
But no, in all seriousness, we like to talk about lots of sports. Obviously, all NRL in this show, just given the time of the year. But we have flicked over to the Aussie
AFL's
rules.
kicking off.
That's right. We've got F1.
F1
is in Australia, in Melbourne this weekend.
Going.
We like to talk about fights.
NFL's about to go into free agency.
We've had the NFL Combine, so plenty to talk about. We usually do a draft show for the NFL in April.
There's actually been some roster movements today, I saw in the NFL.
Yep.
Some guys getting cut, some trades.
Kyle Murray.
Yep.
Cricket, there's a bloody World Cup going on. You wouldn't know about it as Australians, but shout out to Finn Allen scoring 100 off 33 balls overnight. The Black Caps are into the T20 World Cup final. And middle of the year, we'll turn into soccer experts, I suppose, for 5 weeks in the middle of the year to talk about the expanded World Cup. But always plenty to talk about in the wide world of sports. If you're finding us for the first time and you're here 2.5 hours deep, good on you. You deserve something medal, but if you could chuck us a subscribe, that would be great. We may try to get back into sort of fortnightly programming for talking all things sport as we head into the 2026 footy seasons. Monk's on my left, Shauno on my right. Thank you for your time here on a weeknight, and enjoy the opening round in a couple of codes, boys.
Will do.
Cheers.
Bye.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye.